truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, still offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new.
Hi, Matthew. It's Judge Janine, and I wanted to congratulate you on the Don't Unfriend Me show at the Dumb Show. I was thinking about that whole thing the other day when I thought it was right after Donald Trump was elected that everybody on the left. Hi, Matthew. It's Judge Janine, and I wanted to congratulate you on the Don't Unfriend Me show at the Dumb Show. Hi, Matthew. It's Judge Janine, and I wanted to congratulate you on the Don't Unfriend Me show at the Dumb Show. I was thinking about that whole thing the other day when I thought it was right after Donald Trump was elected that everybody on the left started unfriending anyone on the right. So I'm glad you're calling them out. You've got a great name for this show, and I hope that you're true to the values, conservative values, Republican values, and that you call those people out. I think it's great, and I know you've got 135,000 followers. I hope you get a lot more. And just keep the faith, keep fighting. I think we may get America back, but in the meantime, we've got a steep hill to climb. And you're one of the fighters, one of the patriots. So thank you. Hi, Matthew.
Wow. All right.
I love her.
So do I. But now I've got to find this video. Let's see if this will work. Oh, there we go. Things sometimes just work out perfectly. Sorry, I edited that video on the fly, and I'm talking like quick. And Leroy and Amy were in the green room when it happened, and I cut off the back end. Anyway, pretty cool to have the judge. She's a nice lady. I mean, she didn't have to do that. That's pretty cool. Nice to see that. So, yeah, definitely good to have a couple of endorsements. So it's pretty cool. Let's get to dummy comments. See how everybody's doing. How are you both doing?
Good. Got all my dummy gear on.
I am awesome. I think it was a good productive day. Very busy, a lot of moving parts, but it was a good day.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of rock band lately, which has been fun. Playing a lot of rock band. So that's what we did this weekend. We watched some football, and our teams really aren't in it, so we don't really care. So, but it is what it is. Joe Biden had an interesting weekend, had a great Saturday, more documents found. So
yeah,
that's
always
that? Right. Yeah.
But I don't know why we're talking about that. It's not a big deal. It was
just a couple things. There's no there.
And right, there's no there. So I don't know why this is even a topic to bring up.
I agree. We should just let it go. Sweep it under the rug. It's not important. National security isn't important. Let's get to comments. Lee says, yo, dummies. James says, here. James, good to have you. Janet Lee. Hello, dummies. Hello, Janet. Michelle Lionberger's in the house. Farrell Lionberger. So, it's Farrell like the name Farrell, like Will Ferrell, but it's Farrell as in, Anyway, Lionberger. I had burgers for dinner. It was good. It's good. Good burger. All right.
We had chili. It was just so yucky out there.
At our age, it's not good.
Yeah.
Get heartburn.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I didn't make it too spicy because of the kids. So,
ketchup gives me heartburn now. I mean, everything gives me heartburn.
Oh.
I gotta take Tagamet every day. So it sucks.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something else to look
just
forward to.
acid reflux. Yeah. Hey, easy. It's not that far away. All right. Tom, happy Monday. Kristen says, hello, dummies. Frederick says, hey, Matt and all dummies. Greetings, Isaac, Carol. Hi, Matt, and everyone from Iowa. Hello, Carol. Good evening. Santana's in the house. Matt in the Dumb Nation. Hello, Roxanne. Good to see you. Lee, of course, is back. Tina Savage. Hello. Chevelle. Good evening, Matt and fellow dummies. Hello, Chevelle. So many people. So kind. Cheryl
Yeah.
says, hello. Hello, my friends. Frederick is here. Michelle says, I love her. I do too. I do too. Judge is badass. Rhonda, hey, y'all. Amy says, I love the judge. Awesome. Hey, Amy. Wow, she is a great judge. Frederick says. Carl says, was that on this AFT?
Afternoon.
I think she did do it this afternoon. Like, I think that's what she was wearing on the 5 tonight. So she did it right before she recorded the 5, which is just so fucking cool. And you can hear Jesse Waters in the background talking. So he's in there yapping and somebody's playing some sounds and stuff. So if you go and listen real closely and I didn't hear it until I had it on the headphones. So go listen to it. She doesn't take any crap. No, she doesn't. Hey, Alex, good to see you, buddy. Chevelle, hi, Amy and Leroy. Amy and Leroy, Frederick says, loved your concert last night. Yeah, it was fun. We were rocking. We're having a good time. Hayden, holy shite. Carrie Underwood, before he cheats, came on. And, you know, she sings. And Olivia does it all. She plays guitar, the bass, the drums, and sings. She's ridiculous. And she played keyboards when we had the keyboard expansion too. So she's annoying. Just like you just, right?
No,
and,
I caught a quick snippet of it, and she was hammering out the drums like she was Mike Mangini. So I thought that was
she's
fantastic.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
dude, she was playing on Expert down with a sickness, and she got like a 99. She was ranked 108 in the world on Expert on Down with a Sickness and the Undefeated.
Dang.
In the world. Yeah, she's good, dude. She's sick at the drums, and you just watch her and you go, whatever. Anyway, she's annoying. So and I'm playing Carry One before he cheats, and it's a little challenging on Expert, right? I can only do probably 20% of the songs on Expert, and then 80% of the songs on hard, and then the rest I can do on with my eyes closed. But I'm not good by any means. But I'm sitting there rocking out, and Hayden is singing, and I've never heard her sing like this, and I'm just like, holy crap. And she 100'd it. She got 5 gold stars, which I've never seen in the game before. Like, never. I mean, I've seen 5 stars, but they were gold stars. Like, she was pitch, everything perfect. She crushed that song, crushed it. And I stopped in the middle of the guitar solo, and I'm just like, and I just listened to her. And of course, it's failing, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. I just want to listen to it. It's pretty incredible. Anyway, do you guys ever play Rock Band?
It's been a couple years for me, but I have played. But
all right,
we were just looking
you and Jay over.
Never done it.
Yeah, because we were just saying we just moved the video game console. One of them, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
The Switch, one of the Switches we put upstairs, which, believe it or not, was my idea. Because I want to be able to hang out with my kids. I'm like, I like video games. I'm not great at them, but I want to hang out with them more. I don't want them to be. They don't get a lot of screen time, but when they do, I want to hang out with them. So I'm going to start. So maybe that's a good one for us to play together.
I've never done it, and I'm not very good at video games or musical instruments or anything like that. And I always felt like if I ever did play it, I would sound like, I don't know if anybody's ever seen like those there's a string of YouTube videos where it's like a hard rock band, but when they're playing on like the kids' instruments. That's what I would sound like.
Yeah.
Well,
same.
You can't get. I mean, if you buy it now, you're gonna spend $1,000 because it's not. They don't produce it anymore. But it's well worth it. Like like we went off. We played for like 3.5 hours last night. It's fun. I mean, it gets addicting. And then when you have 4 people going, everyone's got to do their part. And, listen, it's 5 buttons. It's not even like a real guitar, but you've got to strum. You got to use the hammer-ons. You got to use the whammy bar. You got to go down on the fret and play lower key notes. I mean, it's challenging. And I play guitar. I'm not good, play rhythm and some basic blues lead, but it's challenging. I mean, it is. I mean, I mean, you should see these notes flying at me sometimes, and it's just like, I'm doing 3-bar chords and doing augmented sevenths on the frickin', it's ridiculous. All right. Whoopi had to kick her off the View. Yeah, I saw that. They need to raid House and Office Biden. We're going to talk about it, Darren. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get to it tonight. Yeah. Thomas, welcome. Hello, Patriots. Ralph, good to see you. Jesse is a yapper. Yeah, he is. I saw this clip on your show for 5 minutes. Yeah, well, I accidentally went live when I was cutting the Judge video. So, received my order. Love the new items. Waiting to see long sleeves. Truck and Tinkerbell. Go over to the site because long sleeves are there. There's one.
And
go ahead.
I love this.
Amy.
I mean, I sent you guys a picture of me wearing this sweatshirt yesterday, and I'm wearing it again today. And it's really cold. And I mean, it's really cold here. It's been like rainy, freezing rain. Like it's like gross where we live. I have been living in this sweatshirt, and same with Jason. It is the most comfortable, well-fitted shirt. Oh yeah, I was cooking dinner. Thanks.
Amy, you look like shit.
I do.
Jeez.
Wow.
In real life.
Wow.
I know.
She looks fantastic. What are you talking about?
That's my point, Leroy. It's called being facetious. That's a good-looking sweatshirt, man.
It is.
Those things are.
I was cooking.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, man. The clothes,
love it.
like they were good. Like when we were with Proper Patriot, they were good. They're next level now. Like and that's funny because the t-shirts are next level. They're all they're more spandexy, little stretchier. They don't shrink. I mean, I've got nothing but popular comments on the hoodies. The long sleeve shirt just got in the Joe Biden, the FJB long sleeve. I'm going to make all long sleeves, but I got to put all that in. And then the iPhone cases, I got a couple of those ordered today. And my understanding is that those are really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I got my coffee this afternoon, so I will be enjoying that tomorrow morning.
Yeah. What did you get? What did you buy?
Oof, I don't remember. I got a dark roast.
Oh, okay. So was it the come and take it? Was it the oh God, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. The Trader Joe, hands down, is the best coffee. And you would think, oh, it's a novelty bag. It is a novelty bag, but it is the best coffee. It is hands down the shiznit. I love that stuff. We're drinking Don't Tread, and it's good, but the Trader Joe's.
I got Don't Tread.
Don't Tread's good. It's really good. The Trader Joe's is out of this freaking world. It's like First Watch coffee. That good. Okay. Yeah.
I'll get that next.
Yeah, you should. The words of the thirsty, power-grabbing criminal says, I take confidential documents seriously means I really do. I am CIA dumb Biden. Archangel's ready to take tyrants out. Okay. Wow. Hey, everyone. I hope everyone's had a good day to start the week, Ashley says. Ashley, welcome. And Susie's on. Susie, hello. Danny says, Citizens First Amendment media is the best, Danny says. Hey, Matt, so glad to be not working and watching. Don, good to have you on here. Mel, are you going to stream on Rumble? I am on Rumble. I'm streaming right now. Don't tell me it's not working on Rumble again. Holy moly. I mean, seriously?
I haven't looked.
Yeah, it's on Rumble. It's right there. I'm watching it right now. It's there. See? 15 people are watching now. You're losing out. Darren says she looks gorgeous. Yeah, we know. That's why we make fun of Amy and call her ugly. Someone needs to market top secret car covers. Huh?
That would be funny.
Oh, dude, a Joe Biden. Oh my gosh, I'm going to make a flag for my flagpole. And it's going to say, this house is safe from this house doesn't have any classified documents or something. All right. Love the sweatshirt. Oh, is that the other salty sweatshirt? Looking great, Amy. Yeah. So yeah. Hey, Dino Burns. Hello. We got more snow today. Good, Frederick. Snow's good. Do you guys consider yourselves patriots? Dino, here's the thing: is questions like that always go one of two ways, and it goes one way. It's never good, because then just what do you really want to know? What do you really want to know? Okay, it's not our first rodeo. Do we consider ourselves patriots? Sure we do. Tell us why we are. Tell us why we're not.
maybe you could call in. It's 804-504-1955 and tell
That's
us
the
what
one.
you think.
There was this guy, dude, and okay, so he was on Facebook and he was just going off. And he's like, I'm a fan of the show, and and he was really nice. But he's like, the 13th Amendment says that lawyers can't be politicians, essentially. And I'm like, what? Before or after the revision of the 13th Amendment? Because his argument is that Esquire, essentially, which he says is a title, it's a title of nobility, which it's not. Esquire is not a title of nobility. It was a separation from peasants, but essentially it was unimportant person, important person to knight. And then you go into baroness and duke and prince and everything else. And all it was gave status. It wasn't, he didn't get any land holdings or anything else. It was a gentry, essentially, is what an esquire is. And he's sitting there telling me, oh, well, and these are the people who read the Constitution and see it the way they want to see it, and only the way they want to see it, not recognizing that a shite ton of the framers were lawyers. So it's kind of ridiculous when people, I understand, I don't like lawyers either, but the 13th Amendment did not say that lawyers couldn't be politicians. And that was his entire argument. And of course, I just like, this is one of the dumbest things I've heard ever. And that's saying something. And then, and then he comes back and slaps back. And I don't mind that. He can slap back. I mean, that's fine. I hit him pretty hard. But the whole point is once we got into a debate and I'm like, dude, what you're saying isn't factual. What you said was your interpretation, but that doesn't mean that's what it was. You said basically, they don't want lawyers. I said, well, that's not fact, right? So that's your opinion. And I'm just telling you that that's not what the 13th Amendment says. And esquire is not a title of nobility. It is simply a moniker that was applied to lawyers to give them a certain level of status, but not necessarily nobility. Like I said, a gentry. And he says, well, you're stupid, you're dumb, you can't understand. And I'm just like, what? Forget it. So I've just learned that within the first 2 or 3 minutes, if I don't see a sign of intelligence that I like, I punt. I punt. And so this lady came up. This was really good. Listen to this. So this was on Twitter. And this was, I get these people all the time. And what they want to do is they want to try to bait me. Let's see if she's updated. No, she didn't update. But here's what she did basically. I'm gonna read this to you guys because it's kind of funny. I gotta find her, make sure she didn't delete everything, first of all. Okay. So after our argument, her name is Bailey, spelled Baillie. I forgot, can't people spell things correctly? And her tag is FS Scarrett, and she has a skull, a human skull, as her profile pic. So I'm like, guy, definitely a guy. And she goes, if you want to drop IQ points, tune into the dumb show. That's what she put. She retagged my stuff. And I thought that was kind of sweet.
Wow.
That was nice. I mean, the more views, the better. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So then she goes, so the first thing she posted on to me was, what a waste of 3 seconds. And this was on the DeSantis video. The DeSantis video with 500,000 views? Yeah, that video. Wow. The DeSantis, 500,000. 500,000 views across Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, podcast, all in 500,000 views. Yeah, that failure of a show. By the way, Facebook flipped the switch. We just want a little bit more, folks, and we're all gonna be excited. Okay, so then I said, when she said, "What a waste of 3 seconds," I said, "Well, I don't know it's a she," so I said to it, "That's what your wife said." And then she says, "Like you, I'm not a man." That was a pretty good comeback, actually.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it was a pretty good clapback. I was like, that's good. That was good. It took me a while to come. Like, that's the only one that I was like, damn, that's a good one. How am I going to come back on that? So, and normally I would have been fucking pissed, right? But here I'm just like, yeah, this guy's a good comeback. I was like, I didn't tell him, her, it, but I was like, that was good. That was good. So I said, aw, no profile pic, must be a fatty.
That's a good comeback too.
That's a good comeback, right? Completely just like doesn't give her any credit and just calls her fat. That was great. Then she didn't do anything right after that. She completely melted the fuck down. Right. So I was like, you could have kept going. And then she goes, way thinner than you, doughboy.
Oh,
really? You think
me.
so? I'm like, we can take each other's clothes off and compare, sweetie. So then I said, ooh, struck a nerve. And there's literally a giant woman eating whipped cream and donuts off of her stomach.
Oh,
I said, struck a nerve. Now she completely loses it, right? Because she starts writing. Instead of just doing a single clap back, she goes, looked at your profile. You must be one insecure ass with way too much time on his tiny little hands. Aww. To respond to every tweet you get. Have you considered working for a living, or is this the best you can do? Just pitiful.
Burn.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Hate.
And I said, you spent a good while staring at me. It's okay. Go eat a Twinkie. And then she goes, oh, and your wife is beautiful. And I'm like, stalker.
Yeah.
And then she goes, oh, are you stealing one for me from your wife's stash? Thanks, but no, you have it. And I said, at least my wife posts her profile pic, unlike some people who hate themselves. You are terrible at this.
Good Lord.
Then I post a picture of my favorite one, which is the guy looking around who looks completely idiotic, who's staring up in the purple shirt. And she goes, who's that? Your kid? He looks just like you. I said, that took you 15 minutes to come up with? Must be hard to jill yourself to my pictures with a Twinkie in your hand. She didn't reply after that. So that was it.
Could have been a ho-ho or something.
Yeah, she didn't come back after that. Once, you know.
My
and a lot of people don't know what
is the world famous ding dong.
A lot of people don't know what jilling is. So a lot of people are like, what's jilling?
She had to Google it.
Just, it's the opposite of Jack and Jill went up the hill. So if you're not jilling, you might be jacking. And if you're jacking and you're a guy, get it, got it, good. All right, so let's move on. Gross. Folks, we're going gross here. Anyway, she didn't come back. And that's probably, and what's great is I can say all that stuff on Twitter. And I can't say any of that shit on Facebook. Like, I've got to be good on Twitter. You can pretty much just do whatever you want on Twitter, minus talk about transsexuals. You can't do that. It's the only thing you can't do.
Oh my golly.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's good to have everybody here. Ashley says, oh my God, laughing face. Now all the fatties are removing their profile pics. Listen to me. Listen, if I make a fat joke, here's the thing. I have fat friends, so it's okay. No.
And you identify as fat some days, right? So
some days I do. You don't
fine.
go after my wife. You don't go after my children. No, that's no. It's just not going to happen. No. Anything she did, she earned. So, and I seriously doubt she's a guy or a girl. And anyway, she assumed my gender, which was also not cool.
Yeah. She doesn't know how you identify. I think that's really insensitive.
I agree too. Leroy had a great idea. Leroy, would you like to share everybody about the abortion clinic and what I'm going to do the next time I have a chance? Because I'm going to do it. This is fantastic. You said I spit my coffee through my nose when I read this. It was effing hilarious. Go ahead.
So I was thinking about this all day. And not all day. Like every now and then I'll just get these lightning bolts of awesome ideas that pop into my mind. And I thought about it and I was like, all right, this could work. Matt and I should film guerrilla style this documentary, kind of old school Crowder style, where we go to an abortion clinic and I demand an abortion. And when they don't give it to me, I can then sue the clinic
sue the shit
for not giving me the services that I desire because they misgendered me.
Can I play your husband in this film?
Oh, I think that'd be fantastic.
Can I play your juvenile son, your prepubescent son? They'll be like, you have a beard. And it's like, no, I don't. This isn't a beard.
Yeah.
I identify as preggers.
This is a lower mandible warmer. What the hell are you talking about? I'm 12 years old. I identify as 12 years old. Yeah. So how about this? Then after we do that, how about we go and apply for Social Security and tell them we identify as 65 years old?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be fantastic.
I love it. Gosh.
I'll be your car. You both can ride me there.
Wait,
I don't understand, man.
Classified documents with us.
Has anyone done that yet? Because I think that would be the greatest skit ever. Like,
Right.
You would get national. Let's do it. I'm not fucking kidding. I will totally be down. I'm like, I'm here for my abortion. You know, and I'll even put a little pillow in here. You know, and everyone can say whatever they want, but it's not. That's not enough for pregnancy. So we gotta get a pillow in there, and I'll come in. I'll be like, "Oh, do you guys have a chair?
No.
Oh, I'm cramping. This is horrible. I'm lactating. My bibs are lactating. Like literally, I'm lactating.
I've already got some additional, tonnage right in the midsection. So I think I'd be the perfect candidate. You know, I could sit down and they could give me the ultrasound, and they'd be like, "Well, we're not seeing anything. Look, I know I'm pregnant. I know it.
I got a better idea. I'll wear a big long what's the name of those? God, my nose is itching. What's the name of the? No, the Stepford Wives. Those big old smocks, right? And you'll wear it, and you'll have I'll have a little thing on my head, and you'll crawl underneath my legs, be hidden on my cloak, and then I'll be like, oh my God, my belly. This is horrible. And like aliens, dude, you'll crawl out, you'll pop out. I'm like, I told you I was pregnant, and you'll be in a diaper, and this is perfect, dude. We'll get it filmed. This would be great. I
want to take it one step further. My daughter has like these baby dolls that look real, like creepy real. And we can get a baby carrier, and you can say you have too many children, and you can't have this one.
All right. Can we get this one aborted? Can you do that?
Yeah. And you need to,
dude, you know what? I think we're overthinking. I think we just walk in and basically say, I'd like to book an appointment for an abortion, please.
Yeah.
So sure. What's the lady's name? Say,
no, it's for me.
Matt, Matilda. Yeah. It's Matilda. Matilda Spear. Do you have ID? Yeah, it's right here. Your name's Matthew. I'm sorry. I don't understand. So you don't understand what? Well, you're not a woman. I'm not a what?
What?
What did you just say to me? Are you fucking kidding? I keep carrying it up. I want to speak to your manager.
Right.
Just flop it on the table.
Say woman or anything anymore. I mean, I don't know. I've never been into an abortion clinic, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure the rules, they're not allowed to use anything but like your preferred pronouns.
Perfect.
Like
Perfect.
They won't talk to you until you fill out the form, of which box. Can I ask, speaking of boxes you check, am I dumb? Because I asked Jason this question, and he just looked at me like I was crazy, so I just left it alone.
Sure.
So I was filling out a medical form for my daughter, and it had race as one section and then ethnicity. So for race, I put human, and then for ethnicity, I put white because I didn't know.
Well, that's fair.
I didn't know. And they didn't say anything. They didn't question me about it. So I was like,
that way when the doctor comes out, she just yells, "Hey, where's the white woman at?"
We're not a white woman.
I didn't know. I was like,
so I think it's a great question. I think it's fantastic. I'm ready to do this. I'm serious. I'm ready to book my abortion.
Yeah.
I'm down.
How far along are you? At least at least 34 years. At least 30. When's the last period that you had? Whenever I wasn't exclaiming or asking probing questions. We can just do this all day long.
Yeah.
Are you lactating? Hold on a second.
I think so.
I think a little came out. I'm not sure. You might have to check.
Yeah.
So just tell me, and I would say to him, I'd say, listen, I get it, but tell me, is this procedure done through my anus? You going to go in the back door? If you are, can I be awake for that? We could have a blast with this thing. This would be the greatest video ever sold. We should do this.
If you did that and did it on Facebook Live, booking the appointment, and then had that debate with the doctor at the counter.
Don't touch my camera.
I'm here for my abortion.
Don't touch my camera. Don't you dare touch my camera. Get off. No. This was established in suffrage that women can have a camera. I've got my camera. Get away from me.
There's no way. I'm just telling you right now, there's no way I'd be able to do that with a straight face. There's just no way.
Oh, I would crush it. Shit. Leroy, I'd wear a bra and everything, like with padding, and then I'd take it down. And because, dude, here's one thing I have, and you can see them right here, is that because of lifting, my capillaries, I've got perma nipple always. No, I don't know, dude. I don't have, dude, there's.
Come on.
It's all rock, babe. I'm talking about the nipples. The nipples are always, the turkeys are always popped. Turkey's always done with me. So I could just take down my lactation bra and it'd be like, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
I could cut glass with these things.
I
love it. Let's do it. I'm totally down. Amy, would you film it for me and I'll go in and do it?
I would 100% do that. I mean, 100%. Oh, we got to do it under 30 minutes though, because my camera shuts off.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? Someone had a great idea. Debbie said I should go in and ask for birth control. That's so good. I'm afraid to get pregnant.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I don't want to get pregnant. Can I have some birth control?
That is fantastic. I love it.
That's a good idea.
It's great.
You guys could go in together as a couple, and one of you could ask for birth control and the other could get the abortion because you can't have any more children.
Someone said to grab a water balloon and put it between your legs and then have your water break while you're there. Oh, so good, dude. I'll wear a dress and everything. Are you fucking kidding me? I will wear combat boots and a dress.
Oh my golly.
I'm totally down. And I'll like raise my arms. There'll be hairy armpits. And dude, I'll do the whole thing. I'm ready. Right.
We gotta go to DC though.
God, you know what the scary thing is about that? And I'm being honest here. I mean, everything up to this point has been jokes. But
I'm not kidding at all.
There is something that is a little bit scary in that I am
serious.
100% convinced that you could find a doctor that would prescribe you birth control pills.
Absolutely, they would. Of course they would.
Zero doubt.
If they're going to give it to kids and chemically castrate children, why wouldn't they do that to adults?
Right. Yeah. Maybe I could ask to start transitioning.
Stella Teach Out says, what stupid, vulgar nonsense is this? You answered your question.
Exactly.
Stupid vulgarity. It's exactly what it is. It's called humor, right? So there's a stick. Okay, so I want you to do me a favor. I want you to grab your hand and reach back to your posterior, and you're going to feel something that resembles a broom handle. And with a firm yank, and careful, don't twist because we don't want splinters. I want you to remove that from your ass. And just learn to take a joke. It's called humor. It's called using the left ideology and logic against them, because men can be women and women can be men, right? Because all you have to do is just say it in your head and you can have a baby now.
And so that's what it is. So long as men can now have babies, I think that, because of the whole my body, my choice type arguments, I think men should have absolute say-so in the abortion debate now.
I think they should always have a say in it. But Mel has a really good comment. She says,
don't forget Stella. Stella replied. It's really good.
Oh, I
no, get Mel first.
Mel says,
I'm really disappointed with this show, not humor. Wow, Stella.
It's not humor to you. It's not humor to you. But how? What do you mean it's not humor? Okay, so everything we're saying is tongue in cheek. It's satirical. It's completely nonsensical. It's got a little bit of a vulgarity, like a little humor should. How is that not humor? So let me ask you a question. Please show me on the doll where our comments touched you. Can you do that for me?
Right.
Seriously.
Show me. Amy, go ahead and read Mel's comment.
I guarantee 100% Stella has watched Mrs. Doubtfire or Tootsie or any of those movies, and she has laughed out loud at one or two of those movies.
Of course she did.
Yeah.
So of course she did. But we take it a step further. And, Mrs. Evangeliah Doubtfire, dear. We take it a little further and we challenge in modern day's world, which is going into an abortion clinic and saying, I'm here for my abortion, being a man, and showing them the stupidity of this whole woke nonsense, let alone that an abortion clinic is absolutely abhorrent in its own right. But now there's a level of ignorance that comes along with it. So, you know what, Stella, here's what it comes down to. Maybe we're not your particular brand of vodka. Right.
I don't think so.
Right. There's plenty of other vodkas on the market. You can go find another one and enjoy that. But yeah, if we're too vulgar and crude for you, well, then adios. This isn't an airport
with two Navy guys, so that kind of makes sense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, three Navy guys, because Amy identifies as a man now, and she was in the Navy.
I identify as that. Now I do. Yes, I know some Navy people now. Besides you guys, so I identify as
all you have to do is say you're in the Navy. You don't even need to serve. Just like I served in the Navy.
Right.
I identify as a Navy person. That's all I got to do.
It's military discount, please.
Right. You can do what most veterans who didn't
Speaking
serve
of-
do. Is there a military discount? Something veterans never say.
Did you know that Lowe's is now selling like, I don't know what they're called, like the ATV vehicles? And because I was there this morning and I was like, I would totally buy one from here if I was in the military because you get your discount.
Oh my God,
And
yeah.
they're cheaper there too, and they're like the nice ones. I was
talking about, like, the
I don't know what they're called, like a gator. It's like a gator. I don't know what it's called. Yeah,
Where's
they
this
have
at?
they had
Lowe's?
Lowe's in Leesburg.
And they're
had,
10%
like,
off?
well, I'm assuming, right? It's at Lowe's. I didn't ask because I'm not in the military. I wasn't like, hey,
Yes, you
can I
are.
buy-
All you got to do is say, you can say you're a SEAL. All you got to do is say, I identify as a SEAL. Stop it.
And I don't have my
Stop.
card.
Stop. Why are you misclassifying my MOS?
Right.
Don't misclassify my MOS. How
Let's
dare
do
you?
some push-ups, bitches.
She'd give her an honorary rank and rate and everything. SOC, Special Operations Chief.
That's right. That's right. Just give yourself. That's right.
Amy Robinson.
Just tell. I'm a SEAL team leader. Which team? 6. Of course. What class were you? I was in before they had classes.
I have no class.
I have no
I
class.
did all my training on the field. I didn't do no school training in the
That's right. Did you go to Virginia Beach or you go to Coronado? Neither.
Yes.
Why? Because I was so
Bridge.
Yes. That's the right answer. See, Amy's in rare form tonight. Have you been drinking tonight? You should
have
with a new baby.
Really shit day. Actually, I did. Jason just poured me a drink, so I just took one sip. But
should be drinking with a new baby.
I had a shit day. So
well,
I've had a shit.
I'm sorry you had a shit day. So
I'm bad.
All right. I'm really sad that she left because, folks, listen to me. This is all nonsense. If you can't make fun of this stuff, I mean, listen, here's the other thing. If I'm not mistaken, I remember going to church and I remember some sermons being laced in humor in order to go ahead and encroach upon a very difficult topic. If it's okay for you to do that, why can't we do it here? Why can't we make fun of the left by talking about extremely sensitive subjects, by using the one thing that we all need to do a little bit more of, which is our sense of humor? I mean, seriously? Are we that uptight?
I am convinced, right, that the far left, and I don't mean moderate Democrats, usually they can find something funny, but the far left, I'm convinced they have zero sense of humor. It is completely gone.
It's ridiculous.
Everything is to be taken completely serious, which is why they want to see people like Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr completely, canceled.
Folks, do me a favor, pound the like button, please share.
It's tough. We love comedy in our home. We're not big movie people, but we will watch stand-up comedy, like the old stuff too. Like you cannot watch Pryor anymore. Like, oh my gosh, like he would have been canceled. Like, there's so many. Everything's amazing, and but now watching like the new comedians on like Netflix, it's so gaggy. Like everything's so political. Everything's so like. Well, my trans friend, I said I could tell this joke. It's like, oh my golly, just tell the
damn joke.
Right.
Like, we don't care. You don't have to qualify everything. I mean, I qualify everything to cover my butt, but I have to. So, but anyway, we love comedy, and I agree. I love Bill Maher. We watch Bill Maher every week.
He's so good.
He's so funny. He makes fun of the right and like the crazy far right all the time, and. Sure. I think he's pretty spot on with a lot of things that he says. I mean,
now that Trump's out of office.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean,
he lost his shit because of Trump. Come on. He was horrible. I mean, I wrote him several, posts and comments and said, dude, I've been watching you since I was like 8. And you need to stop. You need to get over Trump. He's gaslit your ass. Right, he's completely monopolizing your mind. And Bill Maher owned Trump too. So it was fun while it lasted, but it got stupid. I mean, the fact that Trump sued him. Come on, Trump. You're stronger than that. Don't be a baby.
Just let it go. You're supposed to be made fun of, especially when you get to that level.
Exactly.
Right.
Now
it's like that lady that. Yeah.
It's one thing if they're making fun of you. It's something else completely when somebody starts making bold claims of things that you said or did. They clearly you did not, right? So that's something else.
Right.
But if somebody is just having fun with you, a little satire, a little SNL type humor, dude, let it be.
It's like that girl on Twitter. I thought it was great. I wish she wouldn't have stopped. It was funny. I was having a good time. And those are the people who are usually at the end of it are like, dude, that was fun. Thanks. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. That's just having a good time. If you can't laugh at some of the most horrific things in life, well, then you're just biding your time. You know, you're just waiting for you're just one of those people that are like, God's coming and he's going to, all this will be handled soon. I'm like, that's who you are. You're just one of those people who are waiting for Armageddon. And you know what? If that's who you are, then that's who you are. But it doesn't mean I can't laugh while I'm here. Just in case that we're, the big computer switch in the sky is our hard drive turning off and there ain't nothing after this. I'm going to try to enjoy myself while I'm here. I hope that's okay with you. I hope that's fine. Take the stick out of your ass.
Clearly God has a sense of humor.
Obviously. Joe Biden's president. I mean, if you don't think God has sense of humor, there really is no. If you had any doubt, besides giraffes. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
If God's perfect, why are giraffes' necks so long?
I know, right?
Wait,
to reach the trees. Well, why don't you make the trees smaller?
Right. Or make them eat something else.
Yeah. like chickens. Well, there aren't any more chickens. Eggs. No, there's no eggs.
You ever seen giraffes fight? Oh my God, it's
fucking dude! It's like you and I having a sword fight when we go pee in the urinal.
Right.
It's like this.
It's unbelievable. I don't know how they control that thing.
I don't know. It's like two anacondas. It's horrible.
Gosh.
It's horrible. Whoa, my mic
Whoa.
is
Getting
my mic
excited.
is limp. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? All right, this is vulgar. You guys need to stop.
I'm here for my abortion.
I'm
now serving number 69. Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm ready. All right, let's get going. Tonight we're talking about a few things. Hopefully you guys are okay. Nobody's taking it too seriously. You gotta laugh. All right. Joe frickin' Biden, man.
Love him.
It's endless entertainment. I'll give him that. That is the one thing I'll give him. They found more documents on Saturday. Are you freaking kidding me?
I know. It's so great.
Dude, so Leroy and I are going to tell you what's next. Okay. So I think they're almost done. There'll be probably one or two more drops because they'll hit probably the president-elect's office where he rented across from Washington. That will have some documents in it. There'll probably be a maid like named Rosarita or something that collected some. And, they were having a garage sale and he's like, you can take these boxes and she has. Okay. So that's probably what we'll find. Or maybe Hunter will have them, right? He maybe used a few of them as rolling paper.
Yep. Hunter
has
exactly
what I was thinking.
He ran out of zigzags.
Somewhere on Craigslist, Hunter Biden was selling an old desk. And by the way, in the bottom drawer, there was a stack full of secret cover sheets.
Right.
Can I be conspiracy theorist for a second?
You can do it after I make my last prediction real quick, is that they're going to actually find the laptops. Actually, when they do the investigation on the drives, they're going to find some of those documents were actually scanned on the computer. Bet me anything you want. They're going to find some of documents that were found in Joe Biden's were actually on Hunter Biden's computer. Now, and that's all Russian disinformation. The Russians did it. Here's the next thing that's going to happen is that people who had chain of custody of those documents who had got to spam this guy. Jesus.
Oof.
Oh my God. Oh, dude. God, stop carbon copying stuff. Dude, you're annoying. Get out of here. You're fired. Boom. You're gone. Jesus. So, when Jesus comes into chat, it should be something a little bit more prolific. I'm just saying.
You shoot me with one of the 10 commandments or something.
Do you hear that?
Yes.
No.
It's my computer. No, Siri, shut up. Siri started talking to me. She's like, protoplasms, blah, 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 blah. What? I didn't ask that question. All right.
I bet you
Steve.
You said Jesus.
At some point.
I said Jesus. I didn't talk about protoplasm and cytoplasm. And
she probably picked up on the word serious at some point.
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay. So the next thing that's going to happen is chain of custody is that the people who brought those, listen, he didn't go down and go, hey, give me some of those secret documents, Jack. I promise you he didn't do that. So there was an attaché or a courier who brought those documents, and there's chain of custody. And he has to sign an NDA every time. The President of the United States probably signs things more than anything else that he does. And one of them is NDAs. He signed every piece of document. He can't just sign one. Hey, can I get a get out of jail free NDA? No, you got to sign every time you're read in. You got to sign an NDA. Leroy and I know this. So there's a chain of custody. At some point, he either said, give me those damn documents, signed an NDA, and understood what he was signing, or he didn't sign the NDA, got the documents, and never returned them. But that attaché or courier definitely called the office and said, I need those documents back. Didn't get them. So he either said that go pound sand or ignored them. And if he did, then those are obstruction charges that can be brought up to what Donald Trump did to the NARA.
Exactly.
So if you want, that's the next thing that's going to happen is those people are going to come out of the work. Hi, my name's Seaman Apprentice, blah, blah, blah. And I worked at the Pentagon and I gave Joe Biden secret documents and I asked over 172 times, smoke signals, by email. I texted him. I did all, you're going to hear these things and they're going to testify to this. And Republicans are going to grab a hold of these people because every single one of those documents have chain of custody letters attached to them. Mm-hmm. So that's the next step. And wait for the litany of people who are going to come out of the woodwork about this. This is going to be great. This is going to be the funnest thing. This is really going to get us to the 2024 election. I'm really excited about this.
Amy, what were you going to say?
Okay, so this is conspiracy theorist. Sorry, I have a hair in my mouth.
Ooh, I love that word.
Oh my God, the hair lip.
Hair lip?
And I know.
What?
I said I had a hair lip. I had a hair in my mouth.
Oh, that's not quite what okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Moving on. Whole nother topic. Okay. We've already been vulgar enough one time. We don't need to do it anymore. But we've already lost enough viewers. Go ahead, Amy.
Golly. Okay. So I know some people are already like blaming the right for planting documents, but I kind of think this might go hand in hand with that. Like, oh, we're finding documents all these places now. The right has planted these documents in these places to find later so that he's absolved of all of his wrongdoing, blaming the right for coming after him.
Maybe.
That's my theory.
Well, they've already done that.
I know, but I think that's why it's a continue. I mean, yes, I'm kind of like stealing other conspiracy theories, but I think this
no, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's absolutely normal to always blame the opposition, and that's what they always do. Everyone does that. Republicans do it. Democrats do it. The next step in this. Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, and what I was going to say was, I think part of what a lot of people don't realize is that this is part of the news cycle, right? It's one side blaming the other side for something that they themselves are doing, right? And then like everyone starts pointing their fingers. At some point, the media gets a hold of that story, then they inflate it to foment all of the United States, right? Because they're looking for ratings.
Right.
And while all of that is going on, some sort of an investigation takes over. Right.
Some sort.
And then when we find out that really the one side that claimed the other side was doing this thing is they're really guilty of something their own selves, that's when all of the pearl clutching starts. Okay. Then the media exposes that. It's wash, rinse, repeat. We see this cycle every single, it's once every 3 months. It's once every 3 months with some new headline like this.
There's only one bastion that we can hang our hat on here. And that is the Department of Defense. And there, you got to understand, the people who actually give clearances and give people unfettered access to compartmentalized information, they don't mess around. No. And that is our one ace in the hole. And although they're not going to take the President of the United States security clearance away, that's not going to happen ever.
No, that won't.
It won't happen. But what they can do is that they can pigeonhole him by limiting the chief of staff and his entire fucking administration and cabinet with clearances. Because that's what they did to Trump. They pulled Kushner and a couple of others and they hamstringed the president. They will do that to Biden. And it is dirty pool. If you think it doesn't happen, you're insane. I've seen admirals and captains of their ship lose clearances. The people who don't lose clearances are the people on the left, like Swalwell, who eat Chinese and then want to go ahead and want it again an hour later.
Chinese tacos.
And people like Blumenthal who say they were in Vietnam and weren't, or people like Dianne Feinstein who had a Chinese driver driving Miss Feinstein. That should be, instead of driving Miss Daisy, it should be driving Miss Daisy 2, and it would be Dianne Feinstein, and they could replace it. And here's the cool thing is that you get equity because you change Morgan Freeman as a black driver and you put a Chinese man in, which is really important for equity.
So
and equality.
So with all these headlines that are circulating, right, about Joe Biden, about former President Donald Trump, right, folks. By the way, if you're liking this, like, share, and subscribe, because what I'm about to tell you is actually how it works. This is for real. This is no shit.
Is this top secret information you're going to give us?
No, but this is something else. So this is how it works. If you are a congressperson, if you are a senator, then while you are in your office in the White House, when you're in Washington, what you will get if you need to see some sort of classified documentation, right? A courier will bring it to you. The courier will have a briefcase with them that is in some way attached to them. Right. The courier then takes out said document. They let you have it. You read it. Then they take it back and then they disappear. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
in
for
most cases.
In most cases. And so this is for all the Senate and Congress. Now, by the time you start getting up to White House staff type level stuff, right? A lot of times these guys are going to have their own accounts that lead to certain specified classified systems, which is fine. 9 times out of 10, a lot of that is still delivered via paper, just because not everyone in the White House has SCIF access. Now, that being said, how does someone who is a senator end up with those documents on their personal possession?
So perfect.
And then having those documents just disappear, and all of a sudden it's in his garage and it's left untraced, unheard of. Nobody sees it for the next 15 years.
Right.
How does that happen?
Easy. You're trying to write your memoirs. You're saving all of it to write your memoirs. No, that's exactly what it was. Why would it be in those locations? Why would it be in his office? Why would it be in his garage? Unless it's all for his memoirs. Come on.
You're right.
I think that's kind of true. And I think he might even pull I identified as the president at the time defense, and I could declassify any document that I wanted to. So
Bill O'Reilly said that there was an Obama EO that came out. I've looked for it. I can't find it, but it's Bill O'Reilly. I mean, no offense. Yeah. Once Bill O'Reilly was ousted from Fox, he's been trying to stay relevant. And, I'm not saying Bill O'Reilly's not a good guy, but, dude, I'm sorry. I happen to believe Greta. I happen to believe Megan. I believe the women there, and because there's just really no reason for them to BS, especially Greta. I mean, I just, whatever. I don't want to get into that. But Bill O'Reilly, I like him. I love his books. I've read every one of his books. He's a fantastic writer, and he's a very smart man. But I looked up the EO he's talking about, and even if Obama wrote an EO, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change DOD and DOJ classifications for documents. He doesn't have the power. So either way, it may extend a process if there is some hidden EO that Obama pushed through to allow the vice president to declassify, but it still doesn't change culpability. So, and it would be thrown out from a constitutional standpoint anyway. So once again, this is all bullshit. Biden, listen, the biggest guilt in this whole thing is Biden isn't saying anything. Biden is trying to make this just go away.
Fully cooperating. I don't understand what you're talking
fully
about.
cooperating. We cooperated on day. Well, okay. We didn't. Maybe not on day 1, but we got him on day 2. All right. Maybe not on day 2, but day 3. All right. Maybe not on day 3. Day 4. 6 times now they have found more documents after he said that's all for real this time.
We found out right away as soon as all the midterms were over. We all found out several months later. I don't know why you're blaming him. He's done everything the way he should have done. He found out he had documents. He turned it over to his attorneys to hand in. It just took several months. I don't understand.
Well, that's the thing is that okay, I'm going to show the show because I did a show on this tonight and it lays down everything. I mean, you're going to everything. I broke this sucker down. I went into compartmentalization. I went into what the penalties were. We'll watch it here because this is part of it and it's not that long. But yeah, I heard Mark Levin say the same thing, and I had a listener, and I don't share if listeners send me something unless they tell me to. So I know who it was, and I looked it up. I didn't find anything, but even if it is, it doesn't matter. That's not what EOs are meant for. He can't change law with executive orders.
Correct.
Right.
He
Correct.
can try, but ultimately it's going to get thrown out. And if Obama left, go ahead.
Penny Perdue. I'm going to mispronounce that. I'm really sorry.
It's Padois. It's Padois. No,
Padois?
it's Penny.
Yeah.
No, God, dude, you shut the fuck up, please. My God, I'm trying to tell. It's Penny Padois. Go ahead.
She wants to know what an EO is. Penny, an EO is an executive order. It's something that the president hands down, normally to, convey some sort of something that he wants done that can't be passed immediately or legally.
That's not what an EO is. That's what they do now. An EO is a piece of legislation that he can use to enforce laws that are already on the books. He needs funding and he needs approval from Congress. That's what an EO really is. What an EO is used now is to circumvent the Senate and circumvent the House and write their own laws. That's what they do now. Hey, man, I was getting to the person who called in. Jeez, it just took a second. You saw me making the window. Call on back if you want to come in. Somebody was coming in. They didn't stay. Person, call back. But what Leroy's saying is correct. It's just the point is that now it's being used to get what you want when you can't get it through the normal channels that you're supposed to. Listen, the president of the United States enforces the law, period. End of story. That's it. Nothing else. They enforce the law. And when the Senate and the House pass legislation, the president of the United States can cut red tape by using executive orders to get things done to enforce those aforementioned laws. That's what an EO is for. What's it being used for is overreach at this point. And Donald Trump did it too. Every president, really since right after Reagan, has been using executive orders to legislate, and it's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. Dawn has a good question. I have a thought on this, so I want to hear your thoughts too. She says, "Hey, Matt, why do you think Obama has been quiet about this?"
Sure. Why don't we get your thoughts and I'll give you
mine. That is
mine.
a good question.
I mean, I think Obama has a lot to hide, and he's just trying to keep his head down and hope to God they don't come after him for something.
Obama's bulletproof. I don't know if that's truly it. Obama's bulletproof. Sorry. There's nobody in Washington that are going to go after Barack Obama. There's nobody.
Yeah,
Republican or Democrat. He's too popular. It's a kiss of death. Leroy, what do you think?
My take on this is that Obama
Hold on, Chris, we're getting you on.
Obama probably realizes, right, that really what this comes down to is trying to salvage some level of Joe Biden's positive, the only remaining few positive things that they can see, and see if it plays forward so that he can take part in the next election. Now, I think everyone is kind of seeing that that's probably not going to happen. And so therefore he's just not willing to stick his neck out. That is my take on it.
Yeah.
Listen, first of all, Chris, I'm getting you in. Hang tight. I completely appreciate both of your opinions. You're both completely wrong. I love you.
That's okay.
But that's not what Obama's doing. Obama wants to see Biden fail. He got Trump's legacies completely overwritten with executive orders. He did everything he wanted. Obama doesn't like Biden. He's never liked Biden. He's going to stay quiet. He's not going to come to his aid unless there is something that Biden can give him that he already has, and there's nothing left. He's already done. He's dismantled Trump's legacy, reinstated Obama's legacy. That's all he wanted from Biden. Now he can go ahead and back up somebody else, and he's going to let him hang and swing in the wind because that's what Obama does, because he's a crook. That's my opinion. I'm sorry. I don't ever do that. I don't ever discredit your opinions, but you're both wrong. I love you. Chris, now on the show, Chris is a blanket.
Ooh.
No, I'm not a blanket, sir. I apologize. I cannot figure out how to get the camera to switch view.
You can just flip it around if you want to. You don't have to stay on. You don't have to be on picture. Do you want me to turn it off and you can just talk?
Well, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. If you want to come on, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to pull you off here. and you can just talk. So go ahead, man. Chris, what do you want to talk
Did you
about?
say you're going to pull him off? Is that what I heard?
Yes, I am. Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Stop
at
it.
the board meeting.
We don't know where Chris is at. Chris, go ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Well, no, man, you were talking about the Biden thing. If he had those documents when he was a senator, how did he get away with it? You know.
Well, that's first of all, okay, that's a really good question. That's Chris, it's fantastic. Let me tell you a little story. And Eli Crane, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the Eli Crane show I did, but Eli Crane and I talked to, and he's now District 1 House of Representatives. He's a congressman. But before he was a congressman, I had a chance to talk to him. He's kind of ghosting me now. I think he's now on like 3 oversight committees. He's made it. He's going to be one of the most prominent Republicans, in my opinion, in the next 2 years. And he has no reason to talk to me, but hopefully maybe we can rekindle and talk at some point. But anyway, he and I talked about this, that 9/11 essentially was, everyone can say all you want. You know, we created Osama bin Laden, we created Al Qaeda and ISIS, all true. But really 9/11 happened because it was an intelligence failure, just like Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was an intelligence failure because the abundance of intelligence that came through that wasn't being properly channeled and disseminated and communicated amongst the branches. Very similar to what happened in 9/11. The intel was there. People didn't put the pieces together. So what was lacking was that we had an overcommitment to electronic intelligence, electronic surveillance, and we lost the skill sets of human intelligence and creating assets on the ground, infiltrating networks, and then using that information to really play the game the way it was meant to, which is tradecraft. Those things stopped. And then we put a shite ton of money back into that after 9/11. And we started seeing terrorist groups being infiltrated, certain, whether it be Hezbollah, Red Brigade, or Al Qaeda or ISIS, even hometown groups like the skinheads or the Ku Klux Klan or Aryan groups. And we started to see that we were really starting to sow the human intelligence back into our C4. The problem is that the one thing that came with that, besides human intelligence, was the operational security when it came to hard intelligence, digital intelligence, but paper intelligence didn't make the grade. It was the same old thing: read and burn bag it, read, burn bag it, read and burn bag it. And there was no advancement with how to make sure the chain of custody was effective. And it didn't come back with the times, and it wasn't revamped. Most recently, in the last, with Donald Trump, they started to become more prolific, which was getting back to the courier system, going back to chain of custody and immediate destruction of documents, whether it being water-soluble documents, whether it being, ink that doesn't stay on paper. They started using some of the old tradecraft. I need a few minutes. I'll do it in a minute. And using some of the old operational security ways of doing things, and then creating other ways, which Leroy might be able to tell you that are unclassed, of how to transfer paper documents to digital and then to destroy them subsequently in a proper fashion. All of these things did not progress with the times, and they were focused more on digital operational security versus paper operational security. That's my take. Leroy might have another one. Leroy, go ahead.
So what? Can I find my question then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if senators, not vice presidents, presidents, but senators, brought a briefcase off a locked wrist, said, "Hey, read this," and then give it back to me, guy walks away. How did this dude have that stuff in his,
okay. Quickly. Yeah, go, Leroy. You answer this one, and I'll be able to add if he doesn't. Go ahead, Leroy.
Sure. Well, and that's actually what we are asking is how did that occur? Because what I think what is owed to the nation right now is how did you end up with the documents? Where did the chain of custody fail? Right, and where did we as an intelligence agencies, right, community, how did we fail in retrieving our documents back? Like, how did that whole thing play out? Because I have to imagine at some point, when some courier shows up, right, you're already looking at this congressman, senator, you're already at some point in some way, they have some level of trust. You know that they already have a clearance. So it's not a far cry for them to say, all right, just leave it on my desk. I'll read it in 5 minutes. Just come back in 15. Go get yourself a cup of coffee, right? And then somebody reads something and says, oh, man, this is really good. I'm going to want a copy of this one. Walks over to the copy machine that's in his office, right? And then by the time the dude shows back up, says, yep, your file's there. Have a good day.
Right.
I could see that happening. Should it happen? No.
No.
But I could see it happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's something.
And
Go
Hunter
ahead, Amy.
probably gave him. I was just gonna say. I mean, Hunter could have paid him, $50,000 for a month of rent or something. To
Oh, I don't. I just just speculative. I listen. It comes down to this: the president of the United States. If there is a chain of custody for a courier, the president can simply say to the courier that I need 72 hours to review this information. The administration can do that. His chief of staff can do that. Basically his secretary can say to the courier, the president is not going to be able to review this document. Please leave this here. We need a 72-hour continuance. You can come pick it up later. Those things happen all the time. If you think as many times as somebody delivers documents to the president of the United States or someone in some capacity, it happens hundreds of times a week. Yeah. This is not a rare occurrence. And the president very rarely sees any of this stuff. Usually it's put into a brief, and a daily brief is presented to the president, not just in the mornings, but in the evenings before he goes to the residence too. So folks, you need to stop thinking that it's like, oh my God, the courier's here. It's like, fuck, the courier's here again.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean any. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's just
it's nothing. It happens all the time. The point is that hold on a second. His personal stuff, I can understand, but there are multiple areas where he has compartmentalized TS information. That is on order of the president because he is the only one who would be classed to see it, because chief of staff is probably the only other guy that would get an SCI access. Chief of staff is probably the only other person. The rest of the administration, speechwriters, Department of Ag, all that, they don't get that shit.
Well, the DNI. The DNI is almost certainly going to have it, but...
Well, okay, fine. So there's very few people who are going to be hands-on, especially who have access to his garage. Somebody just said real quick, and then I'm going to get to you, Chris. I'm going to open up to you and let you say anything you want. Is this guy comes in and goes, executive orders were meant for wartime. Yeah, in 1941. They've obviously changed since then, and they are used as a constitutional way to expand on law and order passed by the Congress and the Senate. And the president of the United States uses that to direct money, to cut red tape. For instance, if you want to put 100,000 Border Patrol on the line on the wall, Congress and Senate aren't going to do that. The president of the United States would use the law enforcement powers that he has to expand that along the border, and using an executive order to do so, because the law is in place, but how to execute the law is up to the president and his staff. Obviously, you're going to go watch paint dry. Good fucking luck. I'm sorry you're not impressed with our show, because you're fucking wrong. So most people who are wrong usually leave the show. So either call in or shut the fuck up. Chris, go ahead.
I apologize. The way that I interpreted the story beforehand was that President Biden, had these documents back when he was senator, whatever else, and just nobody knew about it. If I'm wrong, I apologize for the misconfusion.
I wouldn't expect anyone to know about it. Senators have access to information. I don't believe Joe Biden was on the Senate Oversight Committee, but he was on certain committees that would require top secret information, especially when he did work with the MRAP, and then also working with some veterans and things to that effect. He would have to have access, but I don't think he was on Senate Oversight. Leroy, was he?
I don't know if he was or was not, but I mean, ultimately, basically what this is we know that they have access to TS and secret materials. It's not a far cry for someone to say, look, I can't get to that one right now, and the courier is leaving in 10 minutes. Just make a copy and we'll burn bag it later. And then it never makes it into the burn bag. I could see that happening. So what we're basically saying is there's 100 different ways for anybody who's working on Capitol Hill to get this material. The proper way to do this is to not only, if you're going to make a copy of something, it's supposed to be serialized. There's supposed to be a chain of custody that's attached to that says, look, here's an original document. Now we have 9 other copies of this that all
you
have
clamp
to
it
be
and stamp it.
that all have to be accounted for annually at minimum until it's proven to be burn bagged.
Correct.
And so that's how it's supposed to work.
And burn bag in is just as difficult as burn bag out. To put something in a burn bag is not as simple as just putting it in the burn bag. That process is very carefully scrutinized. Destroying confidential information it can land you in Leavenworth. Right. So it's not just like, oh, I'm going to go burn that now. That's not the way it works. To make a copy of anything is simple to do. It's just, it has to be done throughout the steps. And what Leroy said is exactly correct. Would Joe Biden have access to SCI information as a senator? I don't know the answer to that question. It depends what committee he was on. Most of the time, it's done in a closed door session where they would go into a closed door. A representative would come in from the DOD, CIA, Department of Defense, NRO, whatever it is, and brief the senators, and no physical transfer of intelligence would take place. However, they are allowed to take notes. There has been times where briefings have been taken by the senators that are either redacted or certain information's left, and they get to take it home with them because they have to study it or they have to, whatever. Those things have been leaked before. So should Joe Biden have access to this information? Yes. Should he be in possession of it for the rest of his life? Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Right.
Chris, that's the answer to your question.
The long story short on this is that the United States owns some level of information, okay? And just because you know this information doesn't make it yours. And so there's this trust with the government that exists that basically says, look, I know certain things, but I can never reveal them. I can't take certain documents with me because it's not mine. That's the gist of it.
And no, it's not spying or espionage to copy documents if you're a senator or a president or a vice president, because there's rules for thee and not for me. And we already know with Hillary effing Clinton that there are different rules for them and us. But I will tell you this, if Leroy and I were to make copies of classified information that wasn't on a rolling dot printer, in the sense that every time you make a copy, it's serialized and it's numbered and it's assigned to you and your badge access or your PIN that you put in when I was in. If you do that and you go to a standard Kinko's, we're going to prison for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
If we circumvent the process to duplicate confidential, secret, even secret, any type of information that is in a SCIF is copy, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. And the vice president does not have the same carte blanche or same ability to declassify information from everything secret and below as the president does, and neither does the senator. So he broke the law. There's no doubt. But the thing that they have to prove now is intent. Good luck.
Right. And that's that's a completely different ballgame.
Correct. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go ahead and anything else you got. We'll try to keep it to a few seconds. I apologize.
No,
you got anything else?
I had no question. I was just asking for a clarification. That's all.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on all
this?
Chris, what are your thoughts on all this?
I think we lost him.
Lost Chris.
Oh.
Chris, can you hear us, buddy? All right, we lost Chris. Chris, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Anybody else wants to call in? 804-504-1955. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just saying thank you. I'm sorry. I spaced out for a minute because I had to work.
Okay. You're okay. You can do that. That's
sorry.
Fine. All right. So quickly before, I do want to come back to this, and we might play the show, we might not. Has everyone had a chance to hear about Ron DeSantis in Florida, where he blocked certain, what he is saying is CRT. Of course, the NAACP and the school board is saying that it's Black history, and certain revisions to the educational material in the school. Ron DeSantis is blocking, and people are saying he's racist, of course, right? He's racist, everything else. And Ron DeSantis,
that's the label that sticks. I mean, once you
Right.
claim somebody
Right.
to be a racist, then they have to work the rest of their lives to get rid of that label.
Right.
So it's
Exactly.
it's an easy attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that, all right, I'm going to say this as clear as I can. Black history not only should be taught in schools, and along with Irish and Chinese and Latin and everyone else, sorry, Latinx, oh, you stupid sons of, so, Latinx, of course. But also to the side of that equation is that African-American history in particular, we'll just talk about that. We don't need to talk about Jews. We don't need to talk about, you know, there's so many other important ethnicities to contributing to the United States, which really shouldn't be the moniker. It shouldn't be the color of your skin. It should be your contribution should be explored.
Right.
I don't care. If there's more white history, well, that's because there's more white people. I'm really sorry. I hate to burst your bubble. But when 67% of the population is white, you're probably going to own most of the history in the United States. And if you enter the Latinas and the Latin community to that, you're also looking closer to 72% of the population being white. But whatever. But African-American history is grossly misrepresented and not represented in American history and our school systems, from not just the high school and elementary level, but also college level. And it needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Full stop.
I 100% agree with you there. I think there's a ton of not just Black history, but I know we're just focusing on that. But you know, we talked about some of the Native American history on even here on this show that a lot of people weren't aware of. And I will say this, as a child, I don't remember learning a ton about Black history. We learned about like the big, I say big names because they're the ones that you hear about: Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. We only learned about those big popular stories. And as an adult, I've taken it upon myself to learn more, because there are tons of interesting stories and interesting people who have made our nation what it is, or helped to do things, or made a name for themselves, and were very prominent in news, especially in newspapers, news writings, books, things that you wouldn't know about. Blacks who pretended to be white or used white surnames to get their publications out. And I've learned so much lately, not just lately, but the last few years of my life. I think it is grossly misrepresented. But again, I agree with Matt. The majority of our history is, Anglo-Saxon white people, because that is the majority of our population as it is today. So I don't think we need to discount that either. I think there needs to be more of both. I think there needs to be more generalized history. And I do think we need to, I'm not saying don't teach world history. I think it's also extremely important. But I think the way that world history is taught in our schools is grossly inaccurate.
Yes.
Correct.
And I think that we should touch on those subjects. And if students want to learn more about the world history, they should do their research on their own, because they're going to get more accurate information on that, because America does not teach world history accurately.
If you want segmentation should be on the way that it's taught. So civics should stay in civics. History, world history, and American history are two different things. And the problem that Ron DeSantis has, and he should, is that there is a difference between Black history and revising history with a woke 1619 project filter.
Yep.
And that's the problem. This is, okay, I've talked about the Daughters of the Confederacy many times on this show. And I'll quickly, after the Civil War, the Daughters of the Confederacy wanted to change the way, and they were essentially have innies instead of outies, Ku Klux Klan. Yep. They were rich, prominent, white women, Southern women, whose husbands were a part of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. The Daughters of the Confederacy went all across the United States and tried to revise actual history, very similar to what the Democrats are doing now. Democrats learned from their ancestors, of changing a narrative that the Civil War wasn't fought on slavery, that it was a fight over paid labor versus free labor, and wanted to change just the nuance of what the South did, and then try to make it seem like the North wanted to bankrupt the South by forcing them to stop using free labor, slaves, and they simply defended themselves, very similar to the trope about the Japanese not being a giant empire, but because they were going to be out of oil in 6 months, they decided to bomb Pearl Harbor, which is a gross misrepresentation for a sadistic, cruel, and completely fucking destructive regime in the Japanese.
Yeah.
So the Daughters of the Confederacy tried to change that narrative and put statues all over the South, in front of buildings in California, everywhere, of Southern generals, and tried to create a sympathetic trope around the Southerners who essentially were seditious traitors. Now, you don't have to like this, what I'm saying, but this is the truth. And if you would simply hold on, when I'm done. Almost done. So the Daughters of the Confederacy did this, and this is why a lot of African Americans, and they have every right, want to see these statues, maybe not destroyed, but relocated off of federal grounds, which I kind of agree with them. Because if I'm a white guy and all of a sudden Malcolm X is there, and then there's 15 statues of Black Panthers with their fists up in the air and AK-47s, and I'm going to go on trial, and I walk up to that courthouse, I'm probably going to be like, holy shit, I don't feel very comfortable. So I understand. Don't destroy them, remove them, put them in a museum, put them in a park, whatever. This whole renaming and cancel culture bullshit is completely stupid. And all it's doing is teaching the old adage of what is past is prologue. And if you don't remember the past, you are doomed to repeat it. Those two statements are absolutely synonymous with each other. So the Daughters of Confederacy did the same thing that the Dixie Democrats did, and what the current conservatives are trying to fight, which is that we are the party of racism. And I want to be completely honest, we are now the party of racism. You can sit here and pretend we're not, but if you look at neo-Nazis and Aryan Brotherhoods and skinheads and KKK members, even though they're just a tiny minutia and iota of what they once were, when 700,000 of them were in Philadelphia for the Democrat DNC, KKK members and white nationalists, we own the 3,000 active KKK members. It's the truth. They have shifted to the Republican Party, but that doesn't mean we acknowledge them, and it doesn't mean they have a platform within our party. We shun them as much as anyone does, unlike the Democrats, who embrace their policies and still do. So the whole point of this whole conversation is, let's not go ahead and pretend that America is inherently racist. It was a very segmented part of the population that was racist. We have moved forward and progressed as a country. And to sit here and think that we need to tell every single person that the founding fathers were inherently racist because they owned slaves, it's a different time. It was a different culture, and changing everything and saying that somehow the last 400 years of our history was founded in racism is a complete mischaracterization of what happened in this country. All right, Leroy, I'm done.
No, I think that was very well said.
I agree.
Something I would just add, right? One of the best books that I have ever read on history was written by a guy actually from the University of Dayton. His name was Larry Schweikart. I tried to get him on the show. He wrote this book back in, I would say it was probably 2004, and it was called The Patriots' History of the United States. Now, it was interesting because you always hear there's always these books that are critical of history, and they try to put everything through this lens that to what Matt is talking about, that the United States is this racist, awful place. Like Howard Zinn's book did something similar, right? And this is my honest to God truth. This is how I see it. That book, Howard Zinn's History of the United States, is written from this left-wing point of view that basically says the United States is awful, blah, 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 blah. And that's really what started this movement to basically say, look, we can use history books and we can use the educational system to kind of get people to believe our side more than anything else. And so that's when CRT kind of stood up, right? Now, I've heard a lot of politicians say that Black history is American history. Fair enough. That's cool. I'm fine with that if we're going to teach it in history class, right? And I'm pretty sure Ron DeSantis would say the same thing. Where Ron DeSantis was headed with all of this, though, is to basically take a scalpel to that part of American history, kind of keep everything, keep the Black history label off of it, and just teach it as history, because that's what it is. And he's trying to bifurcate that from CRT, which is not history, because, and we know it's not history because it's literally has the word theory in its working title. Critical race theory, not history, theory. And so that's what they're trying to do, is confuse those two terms and basically say CRT is history. Well, there may be certain historical elements to it, but it's definitely, there's definitely a philosophy behind it. That's all I
Republicans haven't helped. Okay. Because CRT is a theory of law that talks about systemic racism inherent in the criminal justice system. Yeah. It's also in health insurance too. So, but what we've done is that remnants of that and the creators of CRT philosophy have also segmented into revisionist history of 1619 Project, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That, Abraham Lincoln was inherently racist. The founding fathers, it was built on racism. The 3/5 compromise was built on racism. All this other bullshit. And without actually looking at the dichotomy of Abraham Lincoln, who ultimately said that freeing slaves would destroy the country, keeping slaves would destroy the country, and doing nothing would destroy the country. No matter what he did, he openly admitted that his decision was going to ruin the country, and it did. Right. And no matter what he chose, it all was going to lead to the same thing, which was a war between the South and the North, period. So when people call Abraham Lincoln a traitor, and Ryan Samuels and I completely fucking disagree on this, and I love Ryan. I would lay in traffic for Ryan. But I completely, vehemently disagree with him that he thinks that Abraham Lincoln was a traitor to this country and treasonous. Chris, we're done taking calls for right now, okay? Amy, go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't know if I have a whole lot to add to either of your statements, other than I totally agree. And exactly, CRT is taught, if it was taught as a theory, as in science class where we have theories, but it's presented as a theory. Here's the research to support these things, but it's not proven. And here we're going to explore it to this degree.
Put it in sociology.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's what I mean. Like, there's theories and everything. There's math theories, right? We haven't proven everything that we learn. There are these theories that are strong, probabilities to some people, but that's when someone challenges it and goes, well, I don't agree with this, and here's why, and here's my theory, and then they do the research to prove it the other way. I speak from, my kids go to a private school. It's a Catholic school, and it's a classical education. So their history is completely different than what's taught in public school. It's true American history, and it's the most pure history I have heard. I mean, my kids are in 3rd grade and kindergarten, so they're not learning about anything controversial really yet. They learned a lot about Native Americans. They haven't really touched a ton on World War II. My son will start learning that this year. And I will tell you, it's some of the best history. And my son has taught me things where I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And then I'll read his book, and then I'll do the research too. And I'm like, yeah, I had no idea. It wasn't presented to me in public school this way. That is the truth. You're 100% right, dude. Like, that's not what I learned. It's so different than what's taught in public schools. And, it's hard to have an accurate depiction of history because we didn't live it. So we're learning from what people's opinions are when they wrote it down at that time from their perspective. And you have to remember that with literally anything that's an interpretation, a story, so to speak. These things happened, but to what degree? And there's always room for interpretation. And I think that's important to teach our kids when we are learning history. There's some room there, and my memory is pretty darn great. I will say that. Everyone who knows me knows that I have a great memory. So, but it doesn't mean that my version of events are what your version of events might be, is all I'm saying. It's open.
So
Ish.
I think everything you just said is what most people would agree who are thinking with a logical sound mind would concur, that there is a lack of substance to every course that's taught in high school because teachers have failed students. I'm sorry. The curriculum has failed students. And when I say more importantly, the unions have failed the teachers and the students. Somebody made a comment that said, well, does your son know that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America? First of all, Amanda, I always appreciate when you're on the show. I haven't seen you in months. And I remember everybody. But I always wonder why you always try to make things personal when you ask me a question. I would put my son and his knowledge for American history from an accurate standpoint against just about anybody, including my daughter, and she can come in here and prove that. For you to say that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, it's very myopic in thought process, because you're right.
Yeah.
You're also wrong. And it really depends on what your definition of America is. Is it the United States of America? Well, then Christopher Columbus certainly didn't do that. Our founding fathers did.
Again, that's a
Right.
point that is well made in that book that I referenced by Larry Schweikart. He makes that point. Yeah.
Well, I just made the point. So why don't you just watch my show and not go to Larry Schweikart? So the next thing that I would say to that is, not only if you're looking for landmass and from a continental discovery standpoint, well, then the Native Americans weren't the first either.
Right.
Right.
So you can sit here and say that, but you're wrong. So if you want to say it was the Chinese, if you want to say it was the Vikings, if you want to go ahead and say that it was Aztecs or Mayans or Incans, if you want to say it was the Inuits, you can go on and on and on. But ultimately, Native Americans aren't the first people in North America.
Right.
So that is a complete abhorrent lie. And if you're going to tell me that Native Americans were living here peacefully and riding buffalo and smoking peace pipe and just having a great fucking time, they were murdering, killing, and raping each other long before we got here.
Yeah.
And enslaving.
And some weren't.
Enslaving.
And some weren't. Other tribes literally would just pick up and move because they wouldn't want to be accosted. Like most civilizations, they had inherent evil in them, and there was conquering going on long before we got here. Now, did the United States treat Native Americans correctly? No.
No.
But guess what? War is messy, and at least we let them live. Like most conquered nations, destroy and kill everybody in order to wipe out that history. And honestly, we've been doing it, slowly killing Native Americans ever since. And I do not condone the way the United States treats Native Americans. I've said it many times on the show. But to say, if you want to tell me from a European legal government framework and economic framework, did Columbus essentially plant the seeds for European colonization of the United States? Yes, he did.
Yep.
Most assuredly. And just because he didn't land on the East Coast here, and South America was more than likely where he ended up, it's still a part of the Americas. It did go ahead and solidify to the Europeans that there was a landmass out here that needed to be explored, and started colonization of North America. So did he discover the United States of America? No. Did he create the United States of America? No. Was he the first person here? No. But should he get the credit for discovering the United States and bringing it to the Europeans? Absolutely. Yes. So split hairs all you want. Christopher Columbus discovered America. Leroy, Amy, anybody else?
No, I spot on.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I think she was looking for the answer. What's his last name? Amerigo. That guy. Which is what America is named after. Vespucci. What's his name? Yeah. I can't say it.
I don't care.
And America got its name from him. So Christopher Columbus is credited to the United States and colonizing it. And they gave credit to the actual person who claimed to have found this land back when they thought the world was flat and yada yada yada.
He wasn't the first. He wasn't the first. There's mythology that the Chinese sent people over here too, which is unconfirmed. Listen, every single major continent on the earth who has a civilization in it, whether it's European, Chinese, it doesn't matter, have Mongolian, Persians, all of them have claimed to discover America before Americans. This is ridiculous. It comes down to this. Who created the culture that we have here today? That was Europe.
Yep.
Plain and simple. And it was Europeans.
Yeah.
So, and yes, we understand that he worked with the Spanish government. We understand that Christopher Columbus was a horrible fucking human being that essentially murdered and raped and killed and overthrew certain areas. We know this about Christopher Columbus. He's not a hero to me. I don't celebrate. I can't go over to my neighbor who's Native American and go and knock on his door. And I can't hit him with a blunderbuss, rape his wife, give his kids yellow fever and typhoid, and then go ahead on my skateboard and canoe, row back over to my house to celebrate Columbus Day or Thanksgiving. I can't do that because that's how I would have to celebrate it. I don't necessarily believe in any of that crap. And I certainly don't consider Christopher Columbus to be my hero, but I do recognize what he did, which was extremely ballsy and a last-ditch effort to rehabilitate his image, which was already horrible everywhere else that he touched. And in the end, ultimately, should be accredited for colonizing the United States of America with European influence. Leroy, get in here, please.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think that nearly every historical figure that is imprinted on every American textbook, American history textbook, has some sketchy thing in their past. Like everyone has skeletons in their closet.
Right.
And the further back you go, the bigger and bigger those skeletons get. Right. There are some presidents who are, I'm sure, rapists at some point. And I'm sure there are some explorers and other political figures and that all have some demons in their history. Right. But we're not talking about that. I mean, we all have that. We're talking about what are the advancements that they brought that contributed to the American history. You don't have to be, you could have been a complete douche nozzle all of your life. But if you have one significant thing, let's say,
look at Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a socialist. God.
Let's say Ron Jeremy. Let's say Ron Jeremy tomorrow finds the cure for cancer. Do you think anyone is going to remember him for being the porn star? Or in 100 years,
raping women and drugging women, dude?
100%,
or in 100 years, are they just going to say, that's the dude that cured cancer?
Is Pornhub still around? Because I think...
Yeah, because Ron Jeremy, dude, that guy got more ass. Now we know how he did it.
Yeah.
By drugging. Listen, listen, Amanda, I think is what her name is. No, I don't teach my kids that Thanksgiving actually happened because it did. You're talking decades of difference between what people talk about with Plymouth Rock and Thanksgiving. I'm not going to sit here. Why do you want me to atone for this? I wasn't even here.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible. Yes, my children understand that the Native Americans have been literally, it would have been, and I'm going to say this, and I don't, from a historical point of view, I'm not threatening anybody. It would have been better for us to completely annihilate than what we did to them, because it is tragic and horrible and vomit inducing the way we've treated Native Americans. But what do you want to do? You want to throw out the best country in the world because we made mistakes? I would actually look that we've grown since that time.
Sure.
And yes, we've even grown since Iraq. We've grown since Afghanistan. And right now we're running proxies, but that's really all Obama did too. We had Obama run proxies. Trump didn't do any of that. And Biden's running a proxy. That's a lot better than sending American soldiers to die and doing nation building. And I've just got to say that America is growing and we're learning. We're a young country. I know everyone wants to say we're 400 years old. We're not. Go ahead.
if we're so keen on making sure that we're bringing to the forefront all of the horrible things that countries do to their people and to other countries,
Right.
let's make sure that we at least recognize that there is still currently slavery going on in the world, that there
Correct.
is still some countries that are committing genocide, like
Correct.
China,
Correct.
and that we still have leaders here in the United States who are still willing to do business with these people.
Yeah.
So maybe we
100%.
should, I mean, if we're going to get on a moral tangent and get on a soapbox, maybe we could acknowledge some of that.
Amanda says we're learning. How many wars have we been in? 2.
Oh my golly, Amanda.
And since modern day, well, you got the American Revolution, you have the Spanish-American War, you have the Civil War, you have World War I, and you have World War II.
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
The United States hasn't declared war since World War II. Now, if you want to talk about conflicts, if you want to talk about proxy wars, you want to talk about nation building, yeah, we're learning. What is your, why do you hate America so much? What I don't understand about people like you, Amanda, is that you constantly look over and blame everyone else for where you're at.
Right.
What do you hate about this country so much?
The opportunities, apparently.
I don't understand. Aren't you a nurse? Don't I remember that you're a nurse? You have a child. You have an education. I understand you think you did all that by yourself, but didn't Obama say that, you didn't do that? Your neighbor helped you. The government helped you. You didn't do any of that on your own. I applaud you and have applauded you for being a single mom and the things that you've done in your life. But for you to sit here and pretend that any of these things either demotivated you or motivated you to succeed, it is a complete fallacy. It comes down to this. Can you succeed in the United States of America? Can you thrive in the United States of America? Can you live the American dream, which is providing yourself a life with happiness and the pursuit of happiness? And if the answer is no, then that has more to do with you, because I'm going through it and I'm doing just fine. And I know plenty of African Americans and Hispanics and Chinese and Jews and Gentiles and Amish and every other type of person who are completely happy. And usually the ones that aren't happy are the ones that constantly fucking complain and don't do anything about it. Right. That's just my opinion.
They're the ones that claim victimhood rather than victorhood. Yes.
It's crazy, man.
I'm sorry. I'm just texting a client.
She says, I thought we were supposed to work. Amanda, listen to me. The problem with you is that you don't want to debate. What you want to do is say clever little things that make you get all your frustration and angst out, so you get your endorphin hit. And then when I blow them apart, you switch to the next topic. It's literally playing musical chairs of thought. I can't fucking keep up with your nonsensical bouncing around all over the walls. So I'm done. If you want to stick to a topic and have a conversation, we can do that. But if you just want an endorphin hit so you can sleep tonight, go fucking drink some Jack Daniels. Go have a sexual relationship. Go watch a cool show that you like. Go on Facebook and pick fights with people. But if you want to have an actual conversation, but you have skipped from Christopher Columbus all the way to the 20th century to the 21st century, and now you want to go to Donald Trump. I can't fucking keep up with you. So no, we're not going to do that anymore.
I just get tired of the argument of, do you know why we celebrate Thanksgiving? Do you do you know why we celebrate Christmas? Like, it's so, I mean,
it's contrived.
That's what I mean. Like, it's like, okay, it's a commercial holiday for most people, and that's okay. I don't judge anyone. Celebrate your holidays. My kids, we do not celebrate St. Patrick's Day in my house on any level, like at all.
Really?
And my kids, I mean, like a little, like, okay, like we'll do like something
Communist.
fun for breakfast. I know we're communists. I don't know. I didn't know. When I got the mom handbook, I didn't know I had to do like the leprechaun traps and all this stuff, right?
Leprechaun trap. What the hell's going on over at your house? Is this some
Exactly.
sadomasochistic game?
Yeah, right. That's my whole point. Like, I didn't know about all this shit until
poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
It makes sort of. I don't know.
Well, lucky Lucky Charms in the morning on.
I bought my Lucky
Patty's
Charms.
Day.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
shove a box of thing up my arse, and I'm gonna smell like rainbow sherbet.
I don't know. I base everything off of how my parents raised me. We celebrate Christmas.
Right.
Like, we
Right.
got like a
Yeah,
birthday
yeah.
party some years, not even every year. It was like, this year we're just not feeling it. So you get
Who
like a special day,
cares?
whatever it is. But my point is, like, holidays for us were about family time. St. Patrick's Day was not a big deal. My daughter has it in her mind that we celebrate and we do all these things. And I'm like, that is not, like, we have never done any of those things. Like, I don't, like, your memories are wrong. Like, she's like, no, the leprechaun left footprints. And I'm like, 100% no. She's talking about like the toilet water being green. I'm like, crap. Now I'm
Holy
like,
shit.
right.
It's
And
someone you need to
was
get a hold of whoever's talking to your kid and like just like excommunicate them for the rest of your life. Let me ask you a question. Libra, you have 3 wishes. What are you gonna wish for? Go. You can't wish for more wishes. You can't wish.
Oh,
to
that
kill
was
somebody.
my first wish.
No, you can't do it.
oh,
So just listen. Come on, for the world, not for you. Give me 3 wishes. Just fast, dude. Get quick.
Sure. I wish that all poverty could be lifted from
Okay, good.
everyone.
Next, poverty
Aw.
gone. Next.
I wish
so
I
selfless.
wish for no
Come
more
on.
cancer.
Okay, good. Give me a third
no
one.
more
Okay.
sickness.
Okay,
and
hurry
I
up.
wish for everyone to be happy.
Great. No more sickness. Great. So we're gonna have
Aw.
over fucking population. You globalist
so
dick.
nice.
Amy, give me 3.
Mine
Give
are
me
all
3.
selfish. One,
give me
I
3.
would wish, I'm giving it to you.
Hurry up.
I wish that I would be able to remove people from my life.
Okay, great.
But I
Remove
don't
people from
know.
your life. Give me a second one.
I would wish for my children to always be happy, healthy, and have a great future.
Great. More
And my
populism. Give me the third one.
and my third one would be I would wish for myself to be able to find peace and happiness and just
Perfect.
comfort.
Beautiful. Okay.
Selfish. All selfish.
And I'm gonna that all sounds good. I'm gonna take one of what you guys said. Okay. Nobody said I'm gonna go ahead and freaking make sure the world understands about Thanksgiving. Nobody
Right.
said I'm going to go ahead and teach 16th, 19th history all the way up till today. Nobody said I'm going to go ahead and have transgender bathrooms. You fucking people need to stop. You need to find out what you truly want in life and let go of this nonsensical dribble, because all you're doing is adding to the cancerous, vitriolic, abhorrent bullshit that is going on between you, me, and the Christmas tree. We need to stop. We've got to get back to a place where we can focus on what matters, not materialism. Okay, not existentialist want to go ahead and enter a sauna with lava rock and go ahead and bathe in bamboo and coconut oil. Fucking stop. Let's get down to the hunter-gatherer sense, what we need to survive and flourish as a people, and find what will constantly end the drudgery and the melancholy depression that we're all lamenting, because we can't focus on what's important, and that is family. And that is our spiritual belief of our own existence and how we can go ahead and impact others in a more effective way and positive way. If you're not focused on those things, you're an asshole. Period,
Yeah.
plain and simple. And yes, my site draws a lot of emotion out of people, and I challenge the way people think. And people say I'm contributing to it. No, I'm not. I'm trying to get you to see the hypocrisy. I'm trying to get you to see that all of this doesn't matter. Who gives a shit what Joe Biden did? I don't care what's in Trump's closet. I want eggs to be back to normal. I want chicken on my table. I want my daughter stop learning about what fucking bathroom should she use and if she's a pansexual or not. I want all of that stuff out of my life. And you should too. And what are your 3 wishes? Yes, they're teaching
I just want to help Mel Low. You need to clarify your win the lotto one. I love the health and happiness, but you need to say like the Mega Millions or something, because like win the lotto, you can run a scratch off for $2. Like, just clarify your wish. So, but wait, is your daughter really learning about, like, do they have
Yeah.
different bathrooms in her school?
Yeah.
You know, at some
I
point
can't-
we have to consider everything that we're seeing in the news currently about CRT and about transgenderism and about revisionist history. And we have to realize that these are all overreaching ideals that are intrusive, and they're cancerous to
Say it.
the
Yes.
family unit. They really
No. It's more important than the family unit. You have it. You have the greatest quote ever that you need to fucking coin. Say it again.
I don't know what I just said.
Okay, you said that these ideas and concepts are intrusive.
They're
not
intrusive.
To family, Leroy. Individualism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's your quote, and that's Jordan fucking Peterson right there. Write it down, Leroy, because that needs to be a shirt.
Well, that's actually an old Ben Shapiro quote, which is that the left believes in institutionalism while the right believes in individualism. That's something that has always remained true. And anytime I ever hear that there is some group, that there is some persecuted peoples over here.
Yeah, like Lonnie Asante, who just left because I can't stand the language. If you can identify it, you fucking heard it before, lady. You've heard it before. Who cares? Yes, because I'm verbally challenged. Don't tell me you don't have to have a freaking dictionary and a thesaurus every time I talk, but I'm verbally challenged because I drop an F-bomb. Sit and spin.
Any time that there's that umbrella for the LGBTQ plus community just just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And eventually all of these persecuted groups, right, they congregate together, they turn into a movement, and every one of those movements and every one of those ideals at their root are anti-individualism.
That's it.
To Matt's point.
It's PCU. Go watch PCU with Jeremy Piven and go watch that. How literally they have signs and like one of the causes changes and they're like, oh, we're not worried about meat anymore. And the lady's like, don't worry about it. She's like, she squeezes her sign and it goes like a transformer and folds in and then pops out with a dry erase board and she changes it. Now we're going to talk about feminism. Folks, this is the thing. None of these things matter.
Right.
None of it. Atlanta, there was just okay, remember Antifa? They don't exist, right? Everyone's like, Antifa doesn't exist. Antifa's not real. It's made up by the Republicans. 6 of them were just arrested. Seditious and conspiratorial type charges against government. The same thing they're going after the January 6ers for, as they instigated a riot to burn down Atlanta. These were all Antifa members. Folks, now that we've got proof, and we've had proof, because all you got to do is go to Oregon and Washington and know this, or surf my page for more than 5 minutes to know that there's Antifa. But now, who said there wasn't, and how do we hold them accountable? Which news stations have been lying that they're not real, and how are we going to find them, punish those reporters who lied? And the same thing on Fox News, when they said Obama is a Muslim. And said Sharia law was coming to the United States. Those fucking people, how do we hold them accountable? And how do we make sure that they never, ever get credentials again to work for the press? This is the type of stuff, if you want to make monumental change, if you want to change the way America is going on the course that we're going, accountability for anyone who tries to segment or segregate individualism needs to be held accountable. Because it is eroding this country. Eroding the country.
Can I ask a question that you may or may not know? How many kids are in your daughter's school? Like a rough estimate. I'm just curious. Because I'm just thinking 700. Okay.
Big school.
And they have enough children in that school. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to derail, but I'm tying it together because it's
a talk show.
Well, they have enough children in that school to have bathrooms for the trans kids, I'm assuming.
There's no such thing as trans kids.
Well,
there's no such thing.
I don't agree with them. I agree with you.
No, there's no such thing. I'm not browbeating you. I'm just I want someone to come on here and tell me, please tell me what a trans kid is.
The way that they have the schools set up now, from my understanding, is they have girls' bathrooms, boys' bathrooms, a unisex bathroom, right, for everybody, and then there's a trans. Is there like a trans one too? Like there's, I don't know. I'm generally asking.
It's my understanding that the teachers have given up the faculty restrooms at my daughter's school for transitional, for people who say that they're trans.
Right. Okay. I guess my my thought process is okay, again, my children's school is much smaller, much smaller. But you would think that even on such a small scale that there might be one child in my children's school from like a statistical standpoint that would identify as someone who's not comfortable in their body and wants to live as the opposite sex. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that not only is that not the case, but it's not some kind of suppression on the parents, pushing their kids to feel a certain way. And I truly believe in this. Mother of pearl.
Mother of pearl.
I swear. It's I forget the term for it. It's like the contagion. It's like you say something and it's going to happen, right? Like, unfortunately, it happens with like a lot of horrible things.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, it's just like the kid. It's always the kids thing. When I was a teenager, it was anorexia, bulimia. That was like a huge thing.
Oh, okay.
What is it called? Like cultural, like it's like
like peer pressure almost.
Dysphoria?
Yeah. It's peer pressure, but on a different level. It's like a contagion. Like you one kid has it, and that's like now the cool thing to be the abnorm norm.
I called it that, like it was called like the mealworm experiment when I was growing up, and essentially you take a bunch of mealworms who have practices, and you mince them up and let other mealworms eat them, and they ultimately can take memories and other things from them. So it's like guilty by association, peer pressure, assimilation. There's plenty of words.
Amy, are you trying to think of the word bandwagon?
No. There's like a new, there's like a cool like lingo term. I can't think of it. It's cultural contagion. That might be it.
Well, contagion, that's kind of redundant because culture is assimilation anyway. It's contagion. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
It's just curious to me, as someone who, I have a boy and a girl. At this point in their life, I could not ever see either of them wanting to be the other sex for any reason. I hope that never happens. I hope I don't have to deal with that. But
does it matter?
Yeah, I think it does.
No. When it matters, will it matter? When should that matter?
If they want to, if my daughter says to me tomorrow, I want to be a boy, I'll be like,
no. See, that's the thing. It shouldn't be tomorrow.
Or 10 years from now. That
decision isn't made at her age.
Right. That's my whole point. And that's my, but why?
But if she came to you at 18 and said, "Mom, I'm transgender. Are you okay?"
I would say, I'm going to love you no matter what, and let's have a conversation about this.
Great.
I think.
And if she came to you at 16, would you say same thing?
I would say, you can feel however you want as long as you're under my home and still dependent upon me, and then living by my rules, homie.
And if she comes down and says, "I'm going to sleep with my boyfriend in our house," what are you going to say?
Absolutely not. Get a
same
freaking
thing.
Do it in the car like I used to do a sneak around.
So nothing changes. And let me now, Leroy, before you go, hypothetical.
Yeah, sure.
What is going to essentially qualify a kid to be a trans kid? Please help me understand. What are some of the signs? What would they be? If we're going to wax hypothetical here, and I know
gender what do they call it? Dysmorphia.
Dysphoria. Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Dysphoria. Is that what you were?
Okay, which is confusion about your gender, right? Which is ultimately sex.
Yeah.
Okay, sex. Give me another one.
I can't think of it.
Come on, else. Who you sleep with? Sex.
Oh, okay. Who you're attracted to?
Sex. Yeah. What else?
What kind of clothes you like to wear?
But sex. In our cultural society, what you wear ultimately depicts whether you're male or female.
Sure.
In the average,
it's how you
everyday
present. Right. How you present.
Yeah. Right. It's your right. Okay, great. What else?
I'll take a step further than that.
Vagina and penis, sex. What else?
Yeah.
Amy?
I don't know where you're heading.
Amy, take it to the next. You're answering the question. Go ahead. Amy.
No, I was going to say, and I see this in my children's school. And again, it's a Catholic school, but they talk about the dress code so much that it's not a problem with the lower classes, like where my daughter is. But my daughter, Matt knows, she's she's tall. She's got super long legs. So when I buy her skirts, they are not dress code at the length that we buy them at. They're just not.
Right.
And no one's ever said anything to me about it, but it's like, I don't want, but I feel like it is a way of sexualizing the children. It's like, you can't have your skirt above.
We're jumping ahead though. I just want you to answer the question. Can someone give me number 5? Give me something else that would make a trans kid. We're exploring here. I don't know. I'm asking.
Oh, I don't know.
I legitimately don't know.
Their brain, their actual brain.
So a choice, and the choice would be to be what? Male or female, right?
Yeah.
So sex. Sure. Okay. So all 5 things that we identified as completely really not educated in this topic, even though I've done plenty of shows on it. And that's pretty much summarizes everything. All 5 of those things are all about sex. And I will tell you, no fucking kid needs to know.
Right.
No child needs to know any of those things. It's not ready for them to decide that. Just like I don't want them to decide who their male or female partner is going to be. The normal prototypical relationship. This is not the time.
We are at a point in history where single parenthood is at an all-time high. And because of social media, and the people in schools that your child hangs around and that now have that influence 24/7 bombarded onto them via Instagram and any other social media platform, we're at a point in history where, because there's so many single parents, in other words, there's only one sex being represented in the home for your parent, right? Parents are now confusing, we as a society are now confusing personality with gender.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
I was a tomboy. I wore my brother's clothes for years.
I dressed up in a girl's bathing suit when my sister put makeup on me. Yep, it happened to me too. I've got the photo, and I hate my sister for it.
There's tons of me because I was a big dork, but I still am. But I'm just saying, I never thought I was a boy.
What if I put it this way, and then we'll call it a night, and we'll go to last word.
I don't know how we got here. I'm sorry. It's my fault.
No, we got here because this is the topic. Here's the thing I'll say, and there's people who are listening who are like, I don't agree with Matt. Karen is probably one of them. I know Amanda's probably one. Okay, great. So let me say it like this, and listen to the fucking words coming out of my mouth, please. So you don't call me transphobic, and I don't get banned on YouTube. Transgenders deserve happiness.
Sure.
100%.
Trans rights are human rights. Gay rights are human rights. Lesbian right, yes. Muslim, Christian, I don't care. Everyone, human rights. Okay, great. Children,
leave them alone.
Don't have adult rights. Period. They can't go smoke. We can't get them an AR-15. We can't let them drive a car at 12. They can't get married at a certain age. There are rules and laws, and parents ultimately have to make decisions for our children they may not like, you may not like. It's not your fucking choice. It's not their choice either. But my child comes to me and says, my son goes, Daddy, I like girls. I'm going to say, awesome. If he comes to me and says, I like boys, I'm going to say, awesome. If he says, I like chickens, awesome. Now, my son comes to me and says, I want to fuck chickens. I'm going to say, whoa. No. And if he says, I want to fuck boys, I'm going to say, whoa. And if he says, I want to fuck girls, I'm going to say, whoa. You're 9.
Right.
We're not having this conversation. You're not ready to have this conversation. We'll talk when you're a little older, 16. Right now, no. And that has nothing to do with being transphobic, animal phobic, poultry phobic.
Very handsome.
I don't care. This is not the time. And if he comes to me and says, I want to dress up like a girl and be called Madeline, I'm going to say, whoa, hold on now. Just like if he says to me, I want to go ahead and I want to wear I drink beer on the weekends and I'm a mother effer. Whoa, that's too toxic masculine for me, buddy. this is the thing that people don't understand. We don't want to groom our kids. We don't want to change our kids. We don't want to stop them from being those things. We want them to be happy, and it's not the fucking time. And we're not banning books, folks. We're simply saying that the option for them to read them at this age needs to be removed from their ability, just like porn, just like drugs, just like driving a vehicle, just like drinking and driving. And we are making the best decision for our children because there is no playbook. Right. So if you think that I don't want my child to be trans, you're right. I don't. I also don't want them to be heterosexual right now. I don't want them to be gay right now. I don't want to be lesbian right now. I don't want them to decide what they're going to be for the rest of their lives right now. I want them to focus on school and learning and being happy as a child and letting them be a child for as long as they fucking can. And if you're not on that page with me, then you're a fucking groomer and you need to get the hell away from my kid.
Exactly. That's the
period.
Too. That's the difference is literally, you know, it can be kind of, I'm visualizing this thing where somebody just throws, a stranger throws a Hustler magazine with two girls right in the crib with a 4-year-old going,
oh my God,
it's got something to say about that now.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that grooming? Of course it is.
Of course it is. And that's all we're saying.
We're not saying we're anti-hustler or anti-lesbian. We're saying,
no, I love Hustler.
Let me determine what needs to be conveyed at this time. That's
nothing wrong with porn, folks. I don't care about porn. I don't care about all that shit. What you do as an adult is your business. If you like ice cubes in the bed, then go for it and be an Eskimo. I don't care. But keep it away from my child. They don't need to, their influence, people, child rearing is called child rearing because it's a directional movement in their psychological development. And you have an impact on my child's development, you sanctimonious dick.
Right.
So stop it. Teachers, shut up. We don't care about your fucking opinions. Yeah. I don't want you teaching my kid about the birds and the bees. I don't want you teaching them about the Sues and the Sues, or the Joes and the Joes, or the Sue wants to be a Joe and the Joe wants to be a Sue. None of that is your job. Just teach them STEM and shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amy.
They don't. Yeah. No, that's it. I 100% agree with you. The only thing I might slightly disagree with you on is.
Here we go.
No, and it's a slight disagreement, and maybe you feel the same way and maybe you don't, but it's not a sexual thing. It has nothing to do with sex.
Just get there. Stop proclaiming and just tell me you're doing what they do. Do it.
Sorry, I have to cover my ass.
Not with me,
I
sister.
know. Well, I have to cover my ass for myself because everything I do is being watched.
Yes. Literally. Go ahead, give it to me.
So, no, I will say that I find myself, and I'm okay with this. In our home, we do kind of lean towards gender norms in our home. My daughter does help me more with cooking. My son will help me too. It's not that he doesn't offer to help or I don't ask him to help. And when he wants to help, I include him to help. But my daughter does the cooking with me. My son does more of the outdoor yard work, kind of we do kind of conform to the gender norms in our home. And we teach that not as a bad thing or a good thing. It's just that's my role as a woman, Jason's role as a man. And we kind of are instilling that in our kids. And I think it is directly correlated to this subject on a certain level, because it's like that stepping stone.
Of course.
Go ahead, Leroy.
That's what I was saying before, is that what you're doing as a parent is you're aiding to the development of their personality. See, girls and boys just naturally, they develop kind of differently. They are different biologically in their brain.
I disagree. Boys' They're exactly the same.
Different. No.
We're exactly the same. I've got 75 different pairs of shoes too. I believe that the toilet seat should be put up. Fuck you, put it down. What do you mean? Why do I have to put it down? Why don't you put it up? You want equality. I got to fucking pick it up every time. Why don't you have to put it down every time? That's not the natural
Because
state
you'll
of the
forget
toilet.
in the middle of the night, and when you sit in that bowl of water,
and I'll forget and I'll pee all over it. So what? I've got problems too, sister.
No,
Suck
you
it
have
up.
to sit
Equality.
down.
Listen, I agree with you. Here's the thing. You're right. But here's where I will expand on that. But what I'm not going to do, like for instance, we're getting a cord of wood delivering tomorrow. Normally that would be the guy's job. Fuck that. My wife and daughter are out there helping. Okay.
Yeah.
And just like Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner, we do the same thing. We all pitch in.
Right.
When I light a fire, I rotate. And they both light the fire and build the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. This right here is by my side. Every time I go out, my son grabs it, brings it to me, clears it, checks it, makes sure it's safe. My wife or my daughter does the same thing. We do the gender norming thing too. And we encourage that. Cleaning is done by both of them. So shared responsibility and gender norming are two very different things. I want to give my kids the most amount of knowledge that I can possibly impart to them before I die. That's my goal. Yeah. My wife is the same thing, but I want my son to be a son and I want my daughter to be a daughter. But if she comes home and wants to be a lesbian, you know what? If that's the worst thing that happens, then damn it, I'm okay. If she's not in jail, she doesn't get pregnant, she doesn't get fucking HIV. Okay, then you know what? Okay, so I can deal with that because guess what? I don't have to care because I'm never going to see it.
You know, I have a point on this, and I think it's probably because it's from me. It's one of the more important points.
Make it your last word. Go ahead.
Sure,
your floor.
Sure. Okay. When we raise our kids, we raise them to be as independent as humanly possible. And what that means is that when you're raising a girl, right, there's the potential, at least, that when they finally exit the nest, that when they finally get out on their own, that they're going to need to do everything that a girl needs to do for herself. And what does that look like? Does it involve cooking, cleaning? Sure. But does it also involve changing a tire? Does it also involve splitting a cord of wood? Maybe. Does it also involve, doing your own tune-ups or cutting your own grass? Sure. Now, from the male's point of view, once my sons leave the house, what are the potentials that they're going to have to do should they happen to be existing in the world on their own with no other person living with them, right? Are they going to need to learn how to cook and clean? Absolutely. Yeah. Are they going to need to learn how to do their own tune-ups? Sure. But they're also going to need to know, how to properly shop for themselves or how to vacuum, So it's not that these things are necessarily, when we're preparing our kids for the world, right? There isn't anything where there's this blueprint that basically says, look, boys do this, girls do this. No, They have to learn how to do each and everything that they're going to need to learn how to do. I think it's natural, though, that boys gravitate towards certain things, as do girls gravitate towards certain things. And that's okay. The more liberty, the more freedom we give our kids, really, the more they're going to naturally gravitate towards those things because they have the freedom to do so.
Yeah.
That was my last word.
Listen, and some people are talking about hermaphrodites and okay.
Oh my golly.
In society, there's exceptions to every single rule, but it's kind of like the old adage with abortion where the lady stands up and she's from frickin' Cal Berkeley and she's in front of Ben Shapiro and she goes, my third cousin's brother's sister's roommate is a one-legged pregnant hermaphrodite who has syphilis and gonorrhea and lupus. And if she has that baby, she was raped by her dad's father, who also impregnated her. Yeah. And Ben's like, thank you for giving me the worst scenario possible to answer and a complete anomaly that would never happen again in a million years. I'll try to answer it. The answer is that everything in society has abnormality. Everything has variance. Everything has outliers. And of course, those mitigating circumstances should be addressed on an individual one-by-one basis. But can we not talk about the 5,000 out of 67 million? Can we talk about how do we stop the 67 million babies dying over the next 60 years? because that's what we should be focused on. And I completely fucking agree. All right, Amy, last
Except
word. 2 minutes.
your baby,
Good,
Matt.
Leroy, that was very well said.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And I will just say, we want to save all the babies, with the exception of one, and that is Matt and Leroy's love child, who's going to be aborted.
It's gonna be a smart son of a bitch. It's gonna come out looking like Kurt Warner and Yul Brynner.
Which is why we have to go to Planned Parenthood and request an abortion.
Dude, I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna be here for my abortion. I hope I get some stirrups. Do you have enough stirrups for me? I'm 6'4". I think that's pretty big for stirrups. You got some for me? Oh man, I remember I was riding that horse. That's how I got pregnant.
You do that, and I'll show up and I'll be like, I'm here for my birth control.
Right. And I'm just here for the party.
Give me those M&Ms.
Oh my golly.
I eat those things like chiclets. Amy, anything else?
I mean, no. I think this is a good show. I don't know. It's been we always twist and turn. Sometimes I don't know how we end up in a place that we are. I feel like it's always my fault because I feel like I'm always like, I promise this is a point to what we're talking about, but I'm sidestepping us a little bit.
You crushed it tonight. No, you did great. I listened to you more tonight than I ever have. Usually I just ignore you.
Oh, that's so incredibly insightful.
Thanks. It's what we do. It's what we do.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. All right then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't
Such a great song.
I'ma get the fuck up out of here. This shit, I'm
I
out.
need my ringtone to be that.
It's such a great song. I mean, I don't know how I found it, but I found it. I'm like, that is going on the show because it deserves to be. Folks, listen, occasionally language gets a little rough. I know. It's probably why I'll never be syndicated, but Joe Rogan does it. There's plenty of other guys who do it. You got to cuss once in a while. You got to let it out. And it depends on the night. But if you can take the contents of the conversation and all of it in context, I promise you, we said a lot more of the highbrow, intellectual,
absolutely,
path work than we did, subjugating you to horrible words that you've never heard before. If you haven't heard them before, you wouldn't be able to identify them, okay? And don't tell me you're watching a movie and you're like, ugh, I have to turn it off every time somebody cusses. And if you are, then you're just a special person and, you'll never be happy. And I'm sorry. But if you want to talk, I always love people like the Bible says, the Bible is one of the most violent, descriptive, disturbing books ever written.
Yeah.
You got it all in there. Rape, murder, incest, pedophilia. My Lord, it's graphic. So, you know what? Let's just ease just a little bit about, clutching your pearls. Oh my God, he said the F word. You've heard it before, sister. This is a late night show.
And we identify it as a different meaning here. It means marshmallows and rainbows here.
That's right.
It's
an adult show.
Get your mind out of the gutter, people. That's how we identify.
All right. My last word is this. Relax. Just relax. I don't have all the answers. I'm not your pastor.
Just let
I'm not your role model. I'm not here for you to emulate me. I am who I am, man. Okay? You shouldn't. If you look up to me, then you've got problems. I'm just a man. I'm just a girl living in an immaterial world, and my baby and I just want to be accepted. Okay?
Yeah.
So I want to congratulate Leroy and Amy for being awesome. And thanks for being here tonight. It was awesome to see Judge Janine. And she took her time on that. That means a lot. I mean, she was ready to go live on the 5. I mean, for her to actually sit there and take the time, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was I love the Hodge twins, so I'm not knocking them at all. But when you I was like, oh my God. I guess because she's someone that I truly love her. She's an incredible
badass.
Human being. She's so articulate. I really
she
love
wrote
her.
it down. She wrote the stuff down. She obviously went to the site. Yeah. She's reading it. She's like, oh, you got 135,000 followers. And that means she looked at my site like a week ago because we're almost at 140 now. So, little stuff like that means a lot, I mean, that's cool.
Can I make a quick suggestion? What you should, I'm not saying you should do, this is your, you know, I might splice as much of those celebrity materials as you could together. The Hodge twins, Eli Crane, definitely the judge, who's the Brandon Michon. I would try and stitch as much of that together into a one single commercial with your logo.
Okay. Yeah, and throw it up there. That's a good idea. Yeah, and I've got it. Listen, Amy's friend, Canadian trucker, called today, and I wasn't able to answer. I'm just, folks,
Not
it's
me,
busy.
Amy, different Amy.
No, Amy Stamco.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to try to call him tomorrow. It's been just crazy busy, so I apologize. Play the judge again. Okay.
Yeah, we should. It's amazing.
Hi, Matthew.
Yeah,
it's Judge Janine, and I wanted to congratulate you on the Don't Unfriend Me show at the Dumb Show. I was thinking about that whole thing the other day when I thought it was right after Donald Trump was elected that everybody on the left started unfriending anyone on the right. So I'm glad you're calling them out. You've got a great name for the show, and I hope that you're true to the values, conservative values, Republican values, and that you call those people out. I think it's great. And I know you've got 135,000 followers. I hope you get a lot more. And just keep the faith, keep fighting. I think we may get America back, but in the meantime, we've got a steep hill to climb. And you're one of the fighters, one of the patriots. So thank you for what you're doing.
I feel a little embarrassed that I cussed tonight. Like she would disapprove. I think she probably cusses like a sailor, maybe. But I feel bad for cussing sometimes. I don't like doing it.
No. I think she's like, God, I really idolize her in like a little bit of like a geek way. Like I want to be her. Like I love everything about her. I really do. She's so well spoken, so educated. Like she carries herself so beautifully, and she's gorgeous. I don't know.
Can I say she's fucking? She's gilfy. Oh, dude, she totally like on my grandma list, at least in top 3.
100%. She looks better than me, and like
she's hot. She's hot, dude, and she's fit too. Like she's still got muscle. I mean, she went down and did questions for Jesse one week, and she was in athletic gear, and I'm like, she's fit. She's hot. Yeah. Well, yeah, she's hot, dude. You kidding me?
She looks stacked.
Maybe she'd want to come on.
Bring out a gavel and put her in robes, and she's like, "You are out of order." I'm like,
you don't have to wear anything under that robe. You know that, Your Honor.
I might feel the same way, and I'm not a lesbian, so like I have a little bit of a customer. I love her. I want to like. I'm so. I just love her. I think she's amazing. I really do.
Judge Janine, man. She's got 5 out of 5 gilfs. It sounds like even Amy's interested. So
I'm into it.
All right.
She could turn me gay.
All right. Well, there we go. We have it. We know what's going to help Amy. Yeah, I'm sure your stalkers are going to love that. All right, folks, listen, it's fun. I think I would love to have Judge Janine on the show. That would be awesome. I honestly, she's pretty high end. I'm a long way from that. So I got a long way to go. We just got to keep growing and keep sharing, like, and subscribing. If we keep having videos that went like the Ron DeSantis one, I think that the recorded shows have been the best that they've ever been. They're to the point. They're very, I think they're factual. They're going back to the learning phase. And I think it's good. Ames, do you want to do veteran crisis for us, sister?
Real quick before she does that, if I could just say to everyone who's on right now, folks, if you like what we're saying, if you like some of the take 1 or 2 quotes, something that Matt said, something that Amy said, something potentially that I said, go ahead and share that out to your groups and say, hey, I got this from the Don't Unfriend Me show, and give
that's
it
a good idea.
up. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Just don't quote Leroy. We want people to come back. So
don't quote me either, because you'll pick the wrong ones. Like she could turn me gay.
Do you guys know shit? Amy's a lesbian. She outed on the show. Hey, do you know do you guys know why I pick on Leroy? And I pick on Leroy one because it's comedic. It's comedic value and it's fun because banter is important and every show needs that. But it's because I respect the hell out of him. And if I didn't, I wouldn't. I take liberties with Leroy because I consider him to be a brother, not anything else. So it's completely out of love. And I do it with Amy too. I tell her to shut up because
Yep.
Really, she needs to sometimes. So that's it. Okay.
You're
I
not
love
the
your
only
hat,
one
Amy.
to tell me that.
That's the only pink vagina hat that I ever have liked. It's nice.
It doesn't have
I
the
want a pink
vagina,
hat.
but
gotta
it like
send it
the
to you.
arms, like like the horns that are on the true vagina hat.
It's the labia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I only have one other pink hat, and it's a Tractor Supply hat.
Dude, that hat looks really, I mean, I gotta
it.
say, it looks good. It's a good looking trucker hat.
I love it. I wore it all day. I literally been living in my sweatshirt. I'm gonna have to order like all of these for my sweatshirts.
Dude, you
of the
got to get the
winter.
FJB one. That one looks really slick. I've got a couple that I'm going to make. I'm also, I'm not going to let anything out back. We got to go. Veteran Crisis Hotline. Amy, you want to do it?
I will do it. So Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Press 1 if you or someone that you know, a friend, a distant friend, a relative. Oh, mother of pearl. I swear to Lord in heaven. Sorry. If you or someone you know is
You make
in
so much
crisis,
money. Why would you buy a new camera? Don't.
if
Will you tell
saw the
Jason to pull
invoice
his
I
head out
got
of his ass?
today from
Okay.
my attorney, you'd be like, I get it.
Okay. All right. I
So.
need to buy a camera. All right. I got it.
Yep. I'm about to start a GoFundMe. Anyway, Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255, and press 1 if you or someone that you love is a veteran going through a tough time. Please reach out to them, even if they're not going through a tough time. Just reach out to your friends, your loved ones, check in with them, and if you suspect they might need some help, you can reach out to Matt, Leroy, or myself. Always make me last, please, but I'm happy to help. And we will help you make that call if you cannot do it alone. If you are not a veteran, they will still help you get you to the right place, and they will not report you to your duty station. It's 100% anonymous. You can also call, what is it, pound
98. It's 988. No pound, just 988 and enter.
Oh, just 988 enter. Sorry, I just want to make sure that. So PTS, depression, anxiety, it's all real. And there is help out there for you and your loved ones. And we love you, and the world is better with you in it.
That's it.
Did
It's
I
pretty
cover
simple.
it all? I haven't done it in a while.
I think you got it all. You did fine. You did great. Everyone, it's wonderful. Listen, thanks everybody. Go watch the new show. Go pound, like, share, and subscribe. Go over to the Don't Unfriend Me show. It's thedumbshow.com is the simplified URL. You can pick up a cool dummy shirt. There's hats like Amy's wearing, coffee mugs, coffee. There's flags now. We have sweaters. We have long sleeve shirts. We have vibrators. Leroy, did you get the vibrators put up?
No. I do you have the batteries for those? I need these.
It's a rechargeable one.
Those don't work. They're not as powerful. Come on, even
yes,
I know
they
that.
Are.
All right. Okay. Whoa. No more. No, we're done. You and Olivia call each other and talk about that. Good night, Dumb Nation. We'll see you tomorrow. I will have a recorded show for you tomorrow. I may even be live. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Leroy, Amy, I love you guys. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Love you guys. Good night.
Good night. Love you guys.
Good night.
See ya. Peace in the Middle East. Add reminder tomorrow, 10 a.m. Get Ashley her hoodie. Ashley, don't let me forget. Someone remind Ashley too. I got it in my phone now. All right, everybody. Good night. I will see you. I know I was on. I was putting it in my phone to get Ashley her hoodie. Good night.